If you're in the market for a new car, Sport Subaru right there on North John Young Parkway. It's the brand new dealership they built, and Subaru is an awesome company for doing this.
It's like an adventure car. It's a state-of-the-art dealership.
Yeah.
They also, when they built the dealership, they
cleaned up the all the land that they built the dealership on, and then they donated 90% back to like Florida.
Kind of fits the narrative
conservation.
Of Subaru. They do
cool.
a lot to love. They're always doing these massive events to try and help charities. They've helped plenty of charities that we've dealt with before, and you can get yourself an amazing car by talking to Mike Stacks.
Yeah, Mike Stacks has been there for a long time now. Talk to him. He's helped dozens and dozens and dozens of our listeners. If you also buy a car from Mike Stacks, he'll text me your number, and then I'll text you and get you in, and you can watch the show if you'd like.
3 dozens.
Sorry, I just felt the need to point. I just want to be on. I want Mike Stacks to be on record.
Why would you, come on.
I'm starting calling him 3 dozen Mike. That's the whole 3 dozen.
I was like 2 dozens, not enough. One more dozen.
You added another dozen.
That'll make a difference.
Look, I'm here for it. That's 3 dozens. That's Mike 3 Stacks.
Also, if you're interested in a Chevy Silverado or Chevy Traverse, like me and my wife bought from Don Mealy Chevrolet, talk to JC Harrelson over there. That's in Claremont.
He bought it. He's trying to brag.
And he could help you out. So talk to both of our contacts at our dealerships. They will hook you up. It's Sport Subaru, North John Young Parkway, Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Shane's here from Gabriella Plants. How you doing, Shane?
How's it going, guys?
Our favorite place for plants.
Yeah,
Plantman.
Like all of, I can say 97%, soon to be 98% of the plants in my house are Gabriella plants.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful plants. We did kill one last week. Accidentally.
Hey, we all do it.
It was
We
the
all do
first
it.
time. I've been waiting to tell this story. It was the first time ever and it was Maisie's fault. Nobody got in trouble. It was an accident. We throw in the ball for Dansby the dog, and we hit one of her pots, and that thing flew. And when it hit the floor, it exploded everywhere. It was a mess.
Well, that shouldn't kill it. You pick it up. You take all the dirt out of the roots and have hands.
Not the Dennis's. Dennis's right in the trash. She's a dead.
And we're right back to Tom wanting free plants.
She's a dead.
I have a problem with overwatering my plants because I get high and forget I watered them. That
sounds fun.
Other plantmen will understand what I'm saying, and I know your other plantmen are like, you're supposed to stick your finger in the soil to see how wet it is.
Mark it with a Sharpie, and then you know.
No, is it a Sharpie?
No, just walk by the pot and you water it and then just do a hash mark on it or something. You know?
It's not a clear pot. That's amateur.
I don't know. Put a sticker on it or something. I'm trying to save you overwatering.
Just stick your finger in it. The problem was then I get a dirty finger.
Yeah.
And then
that's what they call it, Tommy Dirtfinger.
And then I was like, I could eyeball it. I could tell dry and wet soil, apparently.
Yeah, the best thing I ever did was put a sink inside the greenhouse in my backyard, because then the dirt finger, you can rinse it right off.
Yeah, you can rinse it right off. I didn't know you were
a small
afraid of a
utility sink in the backyard.
No, back in the day, I have a feeling this man was not afraid of dirty fingers.
Nowadays, call me Tommy Dirtfinger. I don't care about. I'll have dirty fingers at all times. The problem is then I get yelled at for putting dirt smudges on the doors of our house.
Yeah, that's your fault. You got to wash your hands after you're done in the garden.
That's what I'm saying, sink.
Because I'm so ADD that I'm doing 10,000 things at the same time, and then I'm like, I
gotta make eggs for the boys. You gotta be stirring them with a dirt finger.
Hey, can Shane come in on the show?
As I'm walking to make eggs for the boys, I'm like, plants, I gotta water them.
Yeah.
Then I stop, dirt finger. Then I'm like, back to eggs.
It's time. How old is Tommy turning? They're making their own eggs. It's time. Maisie makes her own eggs. I put my foot down. You gotta do it. Maisie makes her own eggs. You gotta do it.
I don't think,
My 5
you know what I bought my daughter
it.
this week? Do you want to know what I bought her on Monday? Because she asked me to buy it. I had to go out and buy her own bottle of cooking spray for eggs. She has her own bottle of Pam. It's time. It's time.
Now you're describing something abnormal. It's like to tell, be like, it's time for your daughter or your son to learn cello, and start playing.
Cooking for yourself
what?
at the age of 11 or 10 is not the cello. Asian kids, you see the little boys are making bao buns. There's sauteing Korean fried double chicken.
Yeah, that's the anomaly. Anyway, so
And they're successful.
back to plants.
Yeah, let's talk plants for a minute. Now,
Shane.
you brought us some. Now, I don't know if these are for us, but I'm just, I'm guessing.
Well, of course they're for us. That's the only reason I invite Shane in. No, I'm
Well,
sorry.
Tom can't bring me in without.
I'm like, don't forget the plants.
Yeah, don't forget the old. We got to do the old Cuban tic-tac.
You got anything rare? Was this comment in the BDM Facebook group, which you're not a BDM? Go to tomanddan.com, become a BDM.
So
You are so manipulative. The idea that you would launch a phrase into our BDM group about rare plants with the idea of just getting.
Well, I know Shane's in there. I see him
I know
comment
you
on
did.
it.
But that is so.
And I told him to come to the
disgustingly-
greenhouse.
That is so disgustingly manipulative.
Yeah, but then I'm like, I got to drive all the way to the greenhouse. I'll invite him in here.
I'll get him
And
to
then-
bring the rare plants to me.
Yeah. Look,
And it worked.
Before we get, I don't know it works. That's the only reason I do anything.
I'm the smartest guy I know.
The only reason I do anything is because it works. Anyway, so that's not true.
I am going to take some heat for that. They're like, why didn't you say anything? I was like, I just let him go.
It was so absurd when I said it that I figured it out.
But it felt good, didn't it?
I figured out plants. Here we go.
Oh,
This is why I
all
brought you in.
Wow.
All right.
So, because I've been racking my brain of like, why do I like plants? And some people don't even think about why they like something. They just they're like,
That's me. He's referencing you. Yeah,
No, I think most people are like you.
I mean, he's on this kick where if
Crystal
you like
says the
something,
thing.
you have to instantly defend it in front of him, or then you don't really like it.
Well, I don't.
Yeah,
well,
Or the fact that you
Well,
say
he
you
just
like
needs
it
a fight.
is not real.
He needs a fight, man.
Yeah,
he needs a fight.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
No,
angry all the time.
no,
It's this Adderall got him angry.
Yeah, man.
In fact,
Anger roll.
I'm overdosed. That's what Reddit says. I have never met anybody else that just constantly thinks about why they like something. So I'm the anomaly here. And then my wife tells me you're insane. What the hell? You're crazy. You're driving everybody crazy. But
I'm not crazy. I'm fine.
I thought I've been thinking about plants, and I'm like, all right, I figured it out. And tell me if you think this is correct, Shane.
All right.
So let's say you buy
It's correct.
a plant.
I mean, you're going to have to say that
Exactly.
at some point
I'm
anyway.
just saying it already.
Might as well practice
You
now.
know?
So I have an idea for people of how to give a plant as a gift, and I figured out the most value you can get out of it. All right.
All right.
Okay. So you buy a plant from Gabriella Plants,
Okay.
right? You go on there, you pick out a plant you like. All the plants are quality.
From
right?
beginning plants to crazy plants to
Oh yeah.
all the plants.
Every type. Yeah.
Although
yeah.
I got a
There's
gripe-
like 400 different SKUs in stock right now. on the
That's a
website.
lot of plants.
I have a gripe with
Collect all 400. I urge you to.
with the carnivore plants, but that's another. Well, we'll get
Yeah,
back.
I brought some carnivorous plants.
Yeah, he doesn't
I
consider
kill them
that.
all the time, Shane. Don't want.
I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay. all right.
Uh-oh. You better be right when you
It
tell
makes
him.
me so mad. So here's the best way to give a plant as a gift to get the maximum value out of it. All right. So you buy a plant from Gabriella Plants.
Okay.
And then it comes to your house. So that right there is a great gift to bring to your mom, sister, brother, anybody who likes plants, a
Sure.
plant lover in your family, right? But I suggest to get the maximum value out of it that you yourself take care of that plant for X amount of time. It could be a couple weeks. It could be a couple months. It could be a couple years or whatever. And you could enjoy that plant for another couple years as you grow and take care of it, right?
Okay.
So then, what happens is, as a plant man, we all know that you end up plant hoarding, which you end up just buying plants, and then your whole house is plants.
Lots
and
and
the
lots of different
outside
plants.
incense,
Yeah.
so.
And then it just becomes pots and dead plants inside of them and cat skeletons underneath.
No,
the
no, no.
pots
Yeah, and tons of fungus gnats.
you drive. That's what those are.
Yeah.
I
He called him his lucky bug buddies.
and this is how I realized the value of plants, because I've come into this scenario where I have
if
too
you
many
change
plants.
your clothes, this is the ramblings of a homeless person. Like if you were just covered in rags right now.
That's the only difference between.
Right? Like everything you've told Shane, everything you've told me, we're standing here, we're listening to you. If you had on a beanie, like a Cartman style beanie, and had a beard, I'd be like, this guy's nuts.
This is every Mother's Day in your early 20s when you didn't get your mom anything. So you're like, I'll give you these coupon codes of of,
Are you gonna do a plant coupon?
like, I'll mow your lawn.
No, I think what he's
know?
trying to get to in a really long-winded way is that if you take care of the plant, it's almost like you're putting your own essence on the plant. So then when you gift it to someone, you're gifting the amount of attention and love that you gave
No.
the
He's saying
plant.
once you've given it to somebody, you're taking care of it in their home.
No.
Okay.
That's why this is
Daniel
so
got it.
confusing. Yeah, I speak calm. Yeah.
Daniel's the only one that can
Thank you,
understand
Daniel.
me. It's a
Thank you,
great
Daniel.
business model.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what I am? It's just like chimp crazy, and I'm like that lady. I'm like that lady with all the makeup on, and you're that chimp, and only you and I can talk to each other. And we're best friends.
Tom
and
needs a translator.
And it's almost gay.
Yeah.
It's this close to being gay.
And I'm this close to ripping your ass off.
Yeah, he does get mad at me.
If you don't give me my cigarettes.
I have to give him a cigarette or he's going to rip my ass off.
So if you love and you plant the plant, it means more when you give it to your mom.
There you go.
So because I've realized
Thank you,
this
Daniel.
over time now, to get rid of my hoarding problem, my plant hoarding problem, I'll give them away as gifts. And I'm like, hey, I took care of this. Is a plant that I maybe took a cutting of. I grew for
It's like giving
years
away bottles of wine that you've collected that are old like a vintage, even though you didn't like build it or anything.
Yeah.
But you're giving
Yeah.
something that you collected and preserved.
But not only that, it represents the amount of effort it takes to take care of a plant, which is hard. So, I mean, by the way, this
all comes back to you getting credit again, though, I feel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, it's like I'm giving you something and I want you to marvel at this something that I'm giving you because I had it and I didn't let it die. Are you gonna let it die? Yeah, see, I do speak pure talk.
And then as soon as they kill it, they're like, I'm better at plants than you are.
Oh my God, he should be giving you plants.
Yeah. Because then when it
Give him
dies,
plants.
they think, oh, I'm not as good as Tom, and that's all I want.
Who cares about doing a show out there?
They're like, oh, this was like he took care of it for years, and then I killed it. I'm not as good as Tom.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
No, but also,
Have you ever thought to give someone a diseased plant so it's a guaranteed win?
No, the damn flies.
He wouldn't know the difference.
I did this.
What are you in Yellowstone? The damn flies! He's hitting it with his hat.
I did this.
My bologna sandwich.
Before I knew what white flies were, I did this to Tony.
White flies matter, man.
To Tony Muchet, I loaded a bunch of.
Don't laugh at that. You're not allowed. No one's allowed.
I hope Tony hears this because he'll laugh. I loaded a bunch of jalapeno plants into Tony's WRX, and they were white fly crazy, like so much. He's like,
I'd be a
goddamn.
swarm, man.
He's like, is this normal? I'm like, yeah, all these plants.
Yeah. They're just happier in their new odor. Those are the celebratory plant flies.
Welcoming flies.
I'm like,
Welcoming flies is so good.
I'm like, just
That's a good band name.
Roll your window down. They'll fly out.
You'll blast them. Get on I-4. You'll blast them out of here.
Yeah. But they are underneath. They're attached. Anyway,
Seriously crying.
back to plants. But in all seriousness, but then also you can learn how to take, like, if you are not a plant person, you could learn what this plant, because all plants are a little bit different. For the most part, you fertilize them, don't overwater them, don't underwater them, which is hard too,
Light.
because it's like,
give them good light. That's the thing. That was the hardest thing for us with the ones that you gave us, is dialing in, especially because most of them we were keeping indoors, and like making sure that they have the right amount of light. It was really hard, and but we got it dialed in now. They're in different areas of the house, and we got the blinds open. You know,
and not to go too far away from the subject, but it does drive me crazy that I got apps now that tell me, like, diagnose the problem of your plant.
I've seen those where it's like you'll take a picture and then it shows a lady using scissors to cut it out, and then it goes wrong. You're killing it.
But by the way, you can cut off brown spots. They don't know.
Those apps are a little bit like WebMD. It's always cancer. It's always, you know what I mean? Like, it's always the same thing.
Well, let's start. Can I ask that question real quick? If I got a brown leaf, what do I do?
Well, okay, but you take a picture and then it'll say it's either overwater or underwater. And then you're like, well, no answer. Well, then you didn't tell me nothing. Like, because you've given me the entire spectrum of water, and you're like, it's somewhere in between nothing and everything.
It's dehydration, cancer. It's one of the two things.
And it's like, I can't fix it now because I don't know. Anyway.
What's the easiest way to tell? Like, if you do want to use technology, is there a surefire way to do it, or how would you do it?
We don't use technology. I would say when it comes to the underwatering, overwatering, typically dry like a leaf that has damage that's drying, like is crispy, not mushy, is underwatering. Things that become mushy is typically overwatering.
Yeah.
So you typically get mushy from overwatering. You typically get, crusty and kind of dry when it's underwatering. But that's not the case for every single plant. That's the crazy thing about plants is we just grow house plants like Gabriella plants, but, there's so many thousands and thousands of species out there and genuses out there. On rough estimate, there's 2/3 of the plants that probably exist in the world haven't even been discovered or are in production or even available for sale. They're just a random species in a rainforest or in a desert somewhere, and there hasn't necessarily been the scientific, exploration to make sure that all those are documented correctly. So it's crazy how wide the spectrum is. And obviously where you live in the country, we're in Orlando, but, anywhere in the country is going to have different care and you're going to have lower humidity in Seattle than you are going to have here. Those types of things are going to be totally different. So it's hard there's no one size fits all. And I think that's the one thing that AI always wants to do is create like the one answer for something when oftentimes it's very environmental.
Tom,
and,
you
what's
like
going
one
on.
answer for everything. Right? Well, it's easier. But I'm not being serious.
Give me
Like, he
yes or no.
likes it yes or no. Then it's a lot of the time on this show where we get some frustration is the gray area.
Yeah,
right.
And like even the reality of like even my idea about taking care of a plant and then giving it away, like
I like that
it
idea,
is based
actually.
on reality. But there's also you could learn how to take care of it and then include the fertilizer and the schedule that you've done. I mean, Gabriella kind of does that for you, and they give you.
Now you're inching into mason jar with cookie ingredients into it.
Yeah.
When I get a mason jar with cookie ingredients into it, I want to throw it through a car window.
But it does because some people they're like, oh, I always kill plants. So you hear that all the time. Like, I can't take care of
It
plants.
starts with your attitude, right? That's the last thing you should say when somebody gives you a plant. You should not say that.
Well, just tell your Alexa to put you on a 2-day-a-week watering schedule, a reminder, because most of the time you forget to water it and then it dies because there is really no coming back to extremely dehydrating your plant. Like it's dead. Once it's dead, it's not coming back. But the plants wilt a little bit or like become sad. You can give it water; it'll come back. But once everything turns brown, it's done. Shane, what have you messed with because I got a bunch of emails recently about bioluminescent plants. And they're like, how does that even work?
Yeah, they were bred. They're patented, so we can't grow them for us. They're bred by, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in the Netherlands or something like that. But they possess a naturally occurring genetic mutation that allows the flower of the plant, although some of the leaf is also bioluminescent, but mainly the flower. And that's what they've been breeding for. From my knowledge, from talking to a friend who it doesn't work for them, but is aware of the situation, there's actually a few other species they're trying. Right, that's a petunia right now.
Okay.
That's bioluminescent, but they're trying to introduce that to a couple other genuses and species out there as well. But
some real life Pandora type stuff.
Yeah,
right? Like we're getting some.
We're getting some CRISPR plants going on right now.
Is there anything out there right now? Has there ever been a plant where somebody like they've created a plant and then they're like, "Whoa, we can't have that. We can't have that plant." Like it's like
Monsanto corn, with
right? No, but
GMOs.
Almost like you created an atomic bomb of plants, or something that's so invasive that it like, oh my god, I wish.
Well, kudzu up in the Carolinas was actually something that the U.S. government was out there, totally unrelated to houseplants, but they were out there saying that because one of its qualities in Japan, where it was native to, was replenishing the pH and some of the nutrients in the soil.
Yeah.
So the government literally paid people to plant this plant in their fields, in their farmland, in the Carolinas and Tennessee and that whole valley area up there, and then it became invasive because they didn't realize.
So they're pumping the nutrients, but the thing went nuts.
The thing went nuts, and now it's covering entire trees and entire forests. Overgrown. So it's every time you find something that's really cool for its unique use case, there's always something we don't realize right now. And I think that's humanity's thing is we jump into, maybe Tom's thing too, we jump into something without realizing the consequences later, you know what I mean? And
well,
so,
what you're talking about too almost sounds like video game character sliders, right? It's like if you pick the big guy who's super strong, he's going to be slow. You know, for everything that you pick, there's going to be something else that you'd have to take away from, or it might destroy this, or maybe we don't have the infrastructure or land for it, or...
Well, people don't realize, like, pothos grows wild, especially in South Florida, and even here, too. You'll see it on trees, and the leaves will get gigantic, but that's the standard basic bitch house plant, is the pothos, which is you'll see in most, like, above your TV cabinet. You know what I'm saying?
That's an excellent way of saying it. It's the TV cabinet.
Well, it's funny he brought this up, because that's the whole reason I thought I was coming into the show today, is on one of the BDM shows or the Friday Free Show, you were talking about your new business, Backyard Brothers Plants.
Oh,
so I figured
you heard that.
The word got out. You weren't supposed to hear about Backyard Brothers.
I just patented that, by the way. And I'm
doing working on a website all morning.
Exactly. I'm doing bioluminescent plants because I don't give a damn.
He is. The boys are back there spray painting.
Yeah, spray painting.
They're just spraying all over.
That's one of the craziest things also right now is there's a new way of spray painting and like glitterizing plants that's actually biodegradable, because you've seen like the succulents that get like spray painted and they're like blue or pink or whatever, and that always kills the plant, like that 100%. There's now there's a new technology on the market that's allowing plants to be spray painted or glitterized or even printed on by like a printer.
I'm pretty sure we're going to need to do that with Brendan O'Connor, and we're going to have to spray paint some plants in Orlando, right? Doesn't that sound like
Hoya?
Yeah, doesn't that sound like something that me, you, and Brendan would do? We go through the town, spray painting plants everywhere,
or sell Gabriella Plants, the Tom and Dan logo on the leaves.
Yeah, there you go.
It only lasts a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So let's talk about
like henna tattoo.
I noticed. Oh, thank you so much for bringing some plants in. I said, don't worry.
Your business.
What is this, Christmas? Why are there plants here?
I said, no big deal. You don't have to bring anything. But you did. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's awesome.
Well, it's funny you were talking about
the plants I expected are here.
The whole reason I sent him a text was confirmed. You were talking about carnivorous plants, though, and you always kill them. Just in quick, one of the reasons you always kill, this is a Venus flytrap. This is a really cool one, though. It's got like kind of the red color inside the Venus flytrap.
I have a red Venus.
Yeah. But one of the reasons you always kill it is carnivorous plants, pretty much, there's a handful of species, but the vast majority are native to bogs. So when you get the little thing with the little cap on it, you know, I'm talking about the supermarket Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
And then the instructions tell you to put it on your windowsill, which in Florida, that's 155 degrees right there next to
It just cooks it.
It cooks it, and they really need constant access to moisture. So if you're going to grow a carnivorous plant, you want to keep the bottom like eighth of the pot in standing water.
Boggy.
Because they're native to bogs and swamps.
Interesting.
So this is a traditional Venus flytrap kind of cool species.
Can you put a little bit of hamburger in those?
I don't know that it helped the plant, but
I've always wanted to like put a little bit of hamburger in there.
People always think you have to feed them insects. They eat plant food. It's just like every other plant.
Exactly.
Which is kind of...
But that's not...
No,
That's like having a big monster truck and it's like, no, it's still electric.
There is some psychology behind you have a Venus flytrap, it's growing and everything, but
I thought you put a hamburger in it.
You never get to... you could take a little live fly, but it's such a pain in the ass feeding it flies.
Yeah, and they're mostly native. Like, although there's swamp and there is some nutrients in the bog water that's very slowly flowing. Think the Everglades, or think up in like Mississippi, Alabama, that area. There is some nutrients in the water, but obviously they have a bigger job to overcome by getting nutrients. As soon as you put a little bit of fertilizer in it, or even as we grow it in like a Canadian peat with mineral like minor nutrients and that kind of thing, they really don't.
You guys work with Canadian Pete? He's a great dude. Can you please tell him hi for me?
But the other one is, and I'll give this to Tom to show off. This is a sundew. So they have and rather than like the traditional Venus flytrap where it kind of closes on the prey, they actually have these like paddle leaf design with those paddles in the main. Those are the flowers, but the main part of the plant has really sticky goo on it. So as soon as a fly will land on it, it won't actually like swallow it up, but it will get stuck in the dew, and then there's an acid that follows the actual leaf
People are
paddle.
enjoying your sticky goo face. You're staring at it. You're just like, shocked. You're like, oh, wow.
I'm trying to see the goo.
Sticky goo. Oh,
You can touch it. It's not going to hurt you. But it'll trap the fly, and the acid in the leaf will actually break down the fly
That's
over
cool.
time. But it's a different way of being carnivorous. There's hundreds of carnivorous species that are native to the United States. The United States is actually it's one of the only species where we are the leader of the known species. There may be more that haven't been discovered yet, but most of them are native to the Americas.
We have the greatest carnivorous plant.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have the ant plant that you got me, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still alive, still growing.
That thing's crazy. That was one of the coolest looking plants you ever brought in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That thing was ridiculous.
But I like that in the fact that it doesn't kill the insects; that it just provides a home, and when they naturally die and bring in food, it eats that.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
correct.
So
Yep.
there's a lot, which we
it's still purpose in a way. It's cooler.
yeah, and
It's a 5-star hotel for ants. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just like, well, I'll just eat what your leftovers are.
The one like, and when we start getting into like the relationship between like plants and like insects, like I start to blur the lines, and I know we're talking plants, but those little moths that look like little broken sticks, have you seen those? They're all over TikTok. They're these little
Broken
moths.
sticks.
And they look like little brown broken sticks, and the interior of it looks like you broke a stick, and the interior is like yellow, like dried wood meat.
Okay.
And this is the craziest insect I've ever seen. So this guy's standing there and all these moths are on him, and it looks like he's just got a bunch of sticks on his sweater. And they're all like little animals that have, I'm guessing through evolution, have created themselves to look perfectly like little broken sticks.
Huh.
I'll see if I can find them to show you guys. They're
That's
insane.
cool.
They're absolutely insane.
That's awesome.
And they look just like sticks.
So what's that plant you got there?
I mentioned this to him earlier. He wanted rare plants when he was roasting me on the BDM page, which if you're not in the Facebook group for BDMs, you can become a BDM at tomanddan.com. But this is Aglaonema hospitum. It's actually my dad who started the wholesale nursery at the greenhouses. My grandpa first owned a garden center, and my dad started a wholesale nursery, the one that I then bought and took over as the third generation. And this was his favorite plant. It was discovered in 1979. Aglaonema hospitum. It's also one of the only aglaonemas that grows kind of in a rhizomatic fashion. So,
Spit them. Spit them.
so it actually, all of its new leaves will emerge from under the soil upwards, which is a little different than having a traditional like vining or climbing plant where you have like the new leaves coming out of new growth.
So this one starts at the bottom. Now we're here.
Correct. Correct.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
It also likes real young insects. Plants, the pedophiles. I got all the jokes.
Here, I got it up on there's the, look at that moth. That's not a stick. That's a moth.
Yeah, that is weird looking.
Yeah, it looks like a stick.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Shane can't see it, but it looks like a stick. And then they're everywhere, and they'll be everywhere, and you'll be like, well, look at all these sticks. No, those aren't sticks. They're moths.
So Shane, how's business going? Good?
Good,
All right.
man. We're in the busy season right now.
What's the most popular plant? What's the trend? What's in right now?
Man, I mean, the biggest thing for us is obviously having a wide selection. Like last year, we only had the most popular plant didn't even make up 1% of sales. So it's pretty spread out over all the SKUs that we
That's good,
sell.
though. That's good.
But anytime you log on to GabrielaPlants.com, there's a section that shows you like what's trending in the last 48 hours or 24 hours right there on the homepage.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where things are going. Some of it's seasonal, Valentine's Day, things like the Hoya carrii, which has like a very heart-shaped leaf, sell really well. And then when you get to Mother's Day, you get a lot of the pinks and the purples and, the other colors. And but we're coming out of winter. A lot of times, people are kind of hesitant to order online, even though we successfely shipped all 50 states. We use those heat packs in the box to get it to you.
Your shipping process is unbelievable.
Yeah,
like it's
great.
some of the best. That even companies like 100 times your size can't even ship the way that you guys ship. And
the team does a great job.
Yeah,
man.
it's
the team
awesome.
does a great job.
It's actually it ends up being part of the presentation of like having it ordered is like receiving it and unboxing it is I don't know. It's exciting. It's very cool.
I like it when you plant a house plant, like one that's familiar to everybody outside. and then years later it grows into a disgusting monster. Like you're like, oh my god, the leaves.
What have I done?
Yeah, and they're like, yo, you're not supposed to plant this outside. And sometimes
You're
that
describing
happens.
our compost pile. When we have to compost something because we think that there's too much pests, and there's things that we try not to throw away plants unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at times it's easier, and if you're trying to preserve, we have 65,000 plants growing in the greenhouse at any given time, so you should come by. But and if you want to come by and you're local to Orlando, you can come take a tour of the greenhouse.
That's cool.
Every second Saturday of the month. You can go to gpsecondsaturday.com
that's awesome.
to get that information. Danger Bane did all of our new branding for that.
I love the Danger
for
Brain.
Second Saturday.
SecondCityGP.com.
Second Saturday.
Second Saturday. GP.
Which happens when, Tom?
The second Saturday.
All right, there we go. All right.
Cassidy is going to take that plant. What is my plant, real quick? What is mine?
I don't remember the exact species, but it's begonia. Super
pretty.
cool plant. It'll have those really large leaves. Some begonias can have smaller leaves. Some can have bigger. I didn't look at the tag before I walked in here,
it's
but
beautiful,
it
though.
looks beautiful.
Amazing's
And
gonna
Tom,
love
fun fact, if you want to steal one of those leaves before you go, how you propagate those, because you don't have a node, right, to plant in the soil.
Yeah.
See,
I don't know. You don't know what you're talking about, Mike.
I'm helping his backyard brother's plants here.
Yeah.
You can actually just trim the leaf off and then stick the leaf directly into soil, like cutting, basically breaking the leaf in part, and every single one of the veins of the leaf will start a new growth as long
Really?
as that soil is
Interesting.
started. So
'Cause
you
you-
can propagate directly from a leaf, like a succulent
Interesting.
would.
And not all
Yeah.
plants, obviously not all plants
No,
can do
no,
that.
no.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, speaking of that, is it how frowned upon is it if you go to let's say
Gaylord Palms?
Gaylord Palms? How'd you know? Or
I listened to the things he says.
yeah.
any botanical garden because I was in one in New York.
Oh, no, you did not, did you? You were in the biggest one. He was like the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens.
Uh-huh.
or what-
But I didn't do it there.
But you
because-
wanted to, didn't
Oh,
you?
yeah. Well, because I think about it. Where
Are
I
there
was
any
like,
signs
Where
that say, don't steal
there
any?
isn't. There isn't. So
Oh,
I
I'd have
thought.
been a stealing bitch.
Well, I mean, like taking a cutting, if it's a big enough plant, like you can't take a cut, like Daniel's plant's too small to take a cutting from, but like other
Oh,
things.
you.
How frowned upon are cuttings in the, I guess,
See, now we're
botanical
getting-
gardens industry?
Now we're getting to stuff I
Lou
like,
Gardens
which is
knows.
like, what are the best, what are like the etiquette of...
Yeah, if I take one from the back.
I would encourage you to ask the right people at each botanical garden, because
We've gotten,
the last thing you want.
In the chat room, it is 100% stealing. Everybody's agreeing.
Yeah.
But, we haven't even had one person agree with you.
Yeah, there's some people who would say, in my mind, there's a little bit difference between, the people who are for profit versus the nonprofit. A lot of botanical gardens don't make a ton of money anyway, so and a lot
Not
of
my
those
fault.
and a lot of those botanical gardens actually have plant sales where they will take propagation.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about stealing.
It's from the back, Shane. You see what I'm saying? No one can even see. I'm taking it. They would know.
If you
like,
wanna-
what? How many sticks? Stems does this plant?
So do you actively do it quickly while your sons are watching, or do you have your
No,
sons
no.
push you and you fall into it and you're like, whoa, and you rip and stick it in your pocket?
No, it pushes his sons into it. It's not his
Okay.
fault.
Yeah, they don't check the kids.
I wouldn't want to encourage anybody to do that. It is stealing.
Where
But-
do you want to steal cuttings from in Orlando? I'm down. I'm ride or die.
I'm rethinking the invite to the greenhouses.
I'm really starting to think that stealing cuttings is our way out of this podcasting thing.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that everybody's like, put alcohol on, your scissors or
Why? Why do you hate that?
Because it's like you're over preparation.
Shane, what say you?
That is very common to do.
What do you think?
I don't do it very often. Our team, the only time we'll do it is when we're dealing with the point of the alcohol is if you had something that had a disease and you may not even see it yet, something like xanthomonas, which is soil borne and it can live, very non-detectable in the plant tissue. If you were and you didn't know that was happening in the plant and you cut it with scissors and then you trim something else, you could be transferring a disease
He
that
doesn't
you
do
wouldn't
could
realize.
be. He never does could be.
It's like wearing a condom. Who does that? I can tell if you got a fine.
Everybody knows that condoms are for masturbating until you get a girlfriend.
But some people are really, really strict on it. They'll do it in between every single cut they make. I typically will do it between, batches of plants. If I'm propagating all the same species, I'll do all those.
I
and
bet
then I'll
your
clean
shears
them.
are rusty old black big old black rusty.
I was like, I can't even open them anymore.
Literally, it looks like the Grim Reaper's can opener.
Yeah. WD
Black.
He has to spray half a can of WD-40 just to get him going
That's
again.
fine.
Well, Shane, thanks so much for coming in,
man.
And
Thank you for the
course.
plan.
And what a surprise! Thank you for the plan.
Wasn't a surprise.
Add these to my collection. Pretty good.
Not too bad.
I can't wait to
like
see you
this
at
is
second
new.
Saturday.
Second
Hey,
Saturday.
we'll be there.
GabriellaPlants.com.
There
All
you
right.
go.
We'll see you in a minute.
It's like I'd be so bold. Porky's, brought to you by Porky's, because I will be there in November at Porky's Comedy Club
Yes.
and Barbecue. Finally, the two have met. I've done a lot of comedy at the comedy and sushi houses, but then sometimes half the audience gets sick on bad sushi.
Yeah, it's the sashimi. It's the sashimi.
Get right.
Oh, sorry.
The United Kingdom is testing software designed to predict whether someone might be a future killer. In fact, they've already predicted the first victim. Whoever thought this was a good idea?
I like that one. I really like that. Yeah, I like that one.
Too smart for the room?
Well, Bob, it's in Florida. You understand
We'll
Florida.
get rolling. We're getting rolling.
You know what education is here?
Dateline, Florida.
Yeah.
Disney World. A fire in a walk-in cooler caused a white plume of smoke at Epcot Center. Most Catholic parkgoers started applauding because they thought they elected a new pope.
Yeah. You know where we might get an African pope, or we may get an Asian pope.
Or the pizza guy.
Oh, yeah, there is one called Papa Pizza. Or
Yeah, I want
right?
Papa Pizza to win.
His name is Papa Pizza.
There's one guy that might be Pope, and his last name is like Papa Pizza or something. So it'd be like
Pope Papa Pizza. No.
I just like to have
I'm glad you guys brought that up. Papa John's and Papa Murphy's Pizza are merging, and they're going to change their name to My Two Dads. Ames, Iowa, guys. A beaver took down a tree, caused a power outage to 1,500 residents. Now, the last time a beaver did this much damage was Sharon Stone in the movie Basic Instinct.
my dad would be.
man.
Oh my! You know what?
The most
Hold
paused
on.
scene in history.
Hold on, that gets a blast.
I never understood why it was called a beaver.
Don't say
because there's lots of animals that just have brown hair. Right? Is it about
Do
the
I have to
mouse?
explain a lot? Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot to go in.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't really
You know-
say it on the radio.
Is it the
I think
beaver
it's
mouth?
a joy that I can bring out these discussion groups with you two.
Is it the tail?
And the guy on the side. Who's on the side there?
Oh, EJ's
Why is
here
it a-
today. Sorry, we have our fattest friend in today.
Why isn't it like a
Oh, that's
muskrat?
very nice.
Yeah,
Or like,
Yeah, I'm used
It's
to
really
it.
nice when you have a moniker.
yeah. And this is EJ, our fattest friend.
you know.
Thank you. Hey, DJ. Hey, listen, this is interesting. We're going to go back in time and revisit a past Satan Report joke. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
It worked. This is from October 10th, 2017. The newest winner of Lucky for Life Lotto game. By the way, it sounds like Lucky for Life Lotto game. You guys have that in Florida?
We do. We do have that.
Yeah, it pays you $25,000 a year for life. A 92-year-old Iowa man won it. When asked what he plans to do with the money, he said, make it to 93.
I like that. That's a good answer.
Yeah. It does stink if you're old.
You know these are jokes, and it's not a good answer. By the way, I do want to point this out. This is a picture of me when I started. I guess it doesn't work. Does it? Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Hold on. We lost it.
You fell into space.
It's not working. You know, it's because of my backdrop, because I really want to be celestial.
It's fine.
So go ahead. What were you guys saying?
Well, Tom, I don't know. Tom was looking at his watch or something. Like he has no idea what's happening.
I was looking at my watch. I love this time of the month with Zany.
You know what's going to happen? Tom's going to be at the Red Lobster tonight on a date going, why do they call it a beaver?
Is it just for the brown hair? Is it the hair? Is it the tail? Nothing really.
Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Yeah,
We'll actually look it up.
Yeah, it should be closer.
Most slang doesn't make sense, but again, what do I know? You guys are the best. Porkies in November. Until next time that the internet's down, this is Bob Zaney. Bay.
See you, baby.
Right,
Bob
see you,
Zaney,
Zaney.
everybody. He's gone. That is our buddy Bob Zaney.
It should be like horse lips or something.
Hey, easy, gotta
Well,
be
actually,
easy.
no, it's in the,
Well,
the
there's
90s.
a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things. Clam,
Yeah.
snatch,
Yeah.
beaver,
axe wound.
Yeah, but why use the specific mammal of beaver? Why
I
the
think you
other
nailed
mammals?
it. I think it is because stereotypically,
teeth and the
stereotypically, when drawing, you're going too far. You just need to slow down. Yeah. You just
The beaver. What do you
let a professional talk about this. It's because of like the patch of I think hair.
Yeah.
And it would be traditionally stereotypically it would be drawn dark.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it. I think it's the hair.
Okay, but
Nothing more than that. Nope. Nothing more than that.
But a beaver's mammal's hair is like a lot of other mammals' hair, right? Like why specifically the beaver?
Because it's
Smaller,
aquatic, maybe?
Smaller.
Aquatic and wet.
You're not going to call it a moose.
No, but a rat. There's a like small like brown rats. There.
Yeah, but you're not excited about a rat.
There.
You know what? Rats are more gray.
There's gerbils.
He's trying to Belichick me on the beaver question. I know he is.
Well, there's small
No
hairy
answer
animals.
is he's going to accept. We're going to give him the right
he
answer.
doesn't.
But is there
He
something
doesn't-
unique to the beaver's hair?
He doesn't
Yeah.
accept any answers. That's the thing I'm starting to like freak
Yeah.
out about. Is like I don't know what to tell.
What do you
him.
want us to tell
I
you?
do think it is the stereotype of the hair, the brown.
the color.
Okay, you want me to ask ChatGPT and see
Ask
if it actually? I guess
ChatGPT.
I could have done that.
Yeah. Because
I could have done that.
it
It's definitely-
doesn't seem like there's
I
anything
think because
unique
it's-
about the beaver's hair.
It's aquatic mammal, and I think that's part of it because it's hair and it has to be wet. Usually that has to do with down there. So I'm trying to think of things I can say. I'm trying to say this so I don't get in trouble on the radio. I already had to edit it once. I don't want to get in more trouble.
Yeah,
You're
'cause
fine.
There's a lot of small hairy mammals that exist that you could have used as a
1940s is when this came out.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty recent.
Does it have
I would
anything
say.
to do with the platypus?
I'm just gonna let GPT take over here
Because they do kind of have the same hair.
Here we go. Little ChatGPT answer.
The slang term beaver, as a reference to a woman, specifically her genitalia, originated in North American slang in the early to mid-20th century, most commonly around the 1940s. It's a crude and sexualized term used primarily by men, and it draws on the visual association between a beaver's fur and pubic hair. The animal imagery aligns with a long history of using animals to refer to human anatomy in vulgar slang. Its mainstream popularization came through things like old soldier and frat boy humor, pinup culture, and eventually movies and comedy routines in the 70s and 80s.
That checks out.
So yeah, it's a vintage term rooted in old school objectification and hair-based metaphors. Not exactly a high point of linguistic evolution.
No, get off your high horse, AI.
You think you're better than me? I love old school objectification and hair-based metaphors.
But just out of quantity of animals around, you would think it would be oh, look at that shepherd. The more German shepherds are around, or
Man, this
the
guy's
dogs.
killing the. We're having a fun pervert party, and this guy's like, and I'm like, hey, look at that beaver, and then the nerd over here is like, excuse
That's not
me,
the right kind of
there are
hair.
other animals you could have selected, sir, that would have been better for your metaphor.
We're just more common amongst society than the beaver.
The United States, you were always after a beaver hunt. Usually, because that's what they made hats out of back in the day.
But a fox is a small, hairy animal they use to hunt all
Fox
the time.
was another term for ladies.
Yeah, but
Fox,
you wouldn't trap them, though.
Not
That's the
for their
thing.
parts, but a fox is a term you would use for a woman.
Yeah, but you would think that's the fox would get the oh, look at that foxtail down there. And instead of beaver, it's
It doesn't match up because usually foxes are usually red.
Just Jen in the chat room says, will Tom critique and criticize the boys this much and this often?
Yeah, that's what I won't.
No, absolutely not.
God,
If his son said that Belichick's girlfriend is running the team, he's like, yes, sir, boys, I love you. And he'll smooch
No,
their-
this is why my wife hates me, and everybody around me hates me. You see what I'm saying? I do this to them.
Do you really do it to your boys?
They don't say anything. They have no opinions. So
They've given up already. Good for them.
You just talk to
They're
yourself.
smarter than we are.
Yeah, I brought this up. I'll be like, they'll say something, and I'm like, why do they do that? And then I start talking, and then they're like, boring. He said like that British guy from the Parliament.
Maisie will look
They
at
got
me
that.
while I'm explaining something, and she'll be like, "Are you done? Because I really want to say something to mommy."
Oh, that would hurt my heart if my daughter said that to me.
Yeah, it kind of hurts my heart a little bit.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube right now. We'd love it if you join us. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live wherever you watch your podcast. Yeah, I know podcasts used to be audio. They're not anymore. Wake up, Grandma.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Wake up, Grandma.
Should we get right into some weird job?
Let's
All right.
let's not waste really professional people's times. Ladies and gentlemen, the original Weird Job Wednesday theme song. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
I forgot how embarrassing it is.
Yeah, that was excruciating for me.
While
And
the
I
guest
had to
is
sit
like,
there and watch our guests smile.
I don't think I've ever been more excited to be on a podcast after that sort of.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to hear.
On Zoom with us, Vice President of Soccer Operations for the Orlando Pride, Haley Carter's on the line. How you doing,
How you
Haley?
doing?
I'm well, thank you guys.
Hey,
Thanks for having me on.
we got a real sports powerhouse on here now. So
Yeah, I know.
kicking our asses around here a little bit. Let's talk sports.
So, Haley, what does the Vice President of Soccer Operations for the Orlando Pride do?
So I'm responsible for overseeing the technical staff, which is our coaching staff,
Okay.
as well as our medical and performance staffs. And all of our operations staff. So our director of team operations, the logistics gurus, the people who like really run the show behind the scenes on the soccer side, our equipment managers, player affairs manager, the individual on our team that keeps the players sorted and organized and supported. And yeah, so my job is soccer.
Yeah, and is it?
Well, keeping the soccer running, is that's seemingly almost way harder than like on the. It's just like the players are gonna play the game, but
Well, like I would put it like this: how difficult, or how difficult is it to concentrate on winning games, soccer, and day-to-day operations, while the other things, is it a wall of just distractions that swirl around you, and those are
we set pretty good boundaries. I would say, a lot of people ask me, because I'm a bit of a twofer. I'm like vice president and sporting director, and I used to be general manager, which is just a very American term for a sporting director.
Right.
And a lot of fans and folks on the outside think, right, like that it's all player contracts and moving and shaking in the market and trades and transfers and that's sexy stuff, but it's such a small amount of my resources and how I spend my time. It's much more strategic and holistic leadership and leading people. And so that's a good question. Like, how difficult is it? I do have to float between, 35,000 feet, and then we'll get pulled into the weeds sometimes to help navigate some issues or things that come up. And if for no other reason than to provide top cover and advice for our staff.
And the pride is successful. So, and sorry not to interrupt, but see the pride, and I think, and this is a great problem to have, is that we have a team that I feel like this, and you'll be able to tell me if this is true or not. I feel like the pride, as soon as we got the pride as a professional, women's, soccer team here in Orlando, they were beloved, and then they went nothing but up. Tom Sermani, before, God bless him, he's gone now, but he was my neighbor. He would invite us out to games. There was this homegrown love that, ladies in this area, men too, families, they wanted more soccer. And then with the addition of Seb Hines, another good friend of Tom and I, that were like, this guy, he was so good on our show. And we interviewed him back in the day as a player, and he was so kind to us, would give us so much access and all of this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it harder because you guys seemingly are successful? There are a lot of women's franchises that mean so far less. The pride is big, though.
It's been a journey for the pride to be successful on the field and off the field as well. We like each other. You talk about Seb and I have a great relationship. He's awesome. And we've created an environment where we have a lot of fun together. It's probably criminal.
Yeah, but that's part of the culture, right? Like that's part of the culture of the team.
It's high pressure, high stress, but it's just a game. At the end of the day, it's a game, and we've got to create an environment where people appreciate that. I got the best job in the world. I wake up and I get to be around pro athletes. I get to lead a group of incredible staff members who I just really enjoy spending time with and navigating hard things with. And, I get to be out on a field every day doing things that I love with the people that I really appreciate. So, yeah, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. I think of all the jobs I've had in my life, and I've had many. I've lived many lives.
We have some questions about those. Hopefully we can ask. Tom's loaded. He's ready to go.
It's probably the hardest job I think I've had, just from you got to be all in, and we're in the people business, right? Like in pro sports, your capital assets are human beings. So supporting them and investing in them, both the staff and the athletes, like it will age you a few decades. Like that's why I say you got to be really serious about boundaries. Like we tend not to pay much attention to what fans and talking heads are saying. And
I have that written down. I was going to ask you how you manage the noise, because I am not, admittedly, the noise and what we do, critiques. I'm not good at it. I'm very
he gets frozen as soon as he hears it.
I do.
You read it.
Yeah, I read it.
I'm like aware of it. Like I'll read it but we're such a black box from a competitive standpoint, because we don't want our competitors to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like the downside to that is fans also don't know what's going on. So, there's a lot of opinions out there, but they're coming based on very little information. So you can't really get upset too much about takes that, just aren't.
Yeah. And
really
sometimes they're just takes. And that's a hard thing for me to understand, because I'm not the type of person that just does things because it's just a take. Well, I'm not a just a take guy. I wouldn't do that.
Well, Haley, I'm sure this happens in all sports and all organizations, where the fans are like, what's this organization doing? And the organization's like, we can't tell you because that will tell our competitors.
Because they're only telling our competitors. Yeah.
So it's funny that people,
they're always wanting injury updates, availability, like technical decisions, why we rotate a roster one way or the other. And I'd love to let them know, but I really don't want our competitors to also know.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Winning matters in our industry and profession. So, that's why you can't, like, fan fiction is a real thing. You can't get upset about it. Like there are times when we'll try and plant some truth out there so folks know, because I think it's helpful. But for the most part, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because sometimes they don't even like the truth. And you went to all this trouble to put it out there, and they're not even paying attention to it.
They can't handle the truth, can you?
I see what you did there.
Haley, not to get too sidetracked from the pride, but I have to ask you, you were an assistant coach for the Afghanistan women's national team?
I was. Yeah, I was.
And you also helped people get out of Afghanistan in 2021. It dawned up because when I was reading your bio and you were talking about high stress jobs, I was like, man, that seems like a insanely high stress job.
Getting people out of Afghanistan is what you did to prepare yourself for the Pride, right? Like, yeah.
Now, as it turns out, like once you spent time as a female Marine officer, like
you're good.
It's all downhill from there. I did. I coached Afghanistan and from 2016 to 2019.
Wow.
Really the end of 2018, and then we navigated some pretty serious adversity.
Oh yeah.
When the Taliban took over, it was just sort of fortuitous that their assistant coach was a former Marine officer and still had a lot of connections in the State Department and national security community, and a lot of attorneys like our staff. We were connected with some fabulous immigration attorneys and human rights attorneys, and our staff was very similar to what we have in Orlando at the Pride, that everybody has their skill set and checks their ego at the door and shows up with what they're good at. And
nice.
We use those skills to complement each other and get done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I love it.
So, Haley, let's talk about recruiting and scouting. Because I know you were a former scout, correct?
Yes.
And when you
I've always wanted to talk to somebody who scouts players and what you look for, or is it you look for so many different things?
What's the normal channels in women's soccer? We may not know.
So we have a director of scouting and analytics, Kat Connor. She's a former collegiate coach who she hates it when I tell people this, so I love to tell them that she was actually she was my Olympic development program coach when I was 15.
Wow.
And now I was fortunate enough to bring her in to work for us. And
Tom likes to tell people that he was my intern. I see what you're doing. Yeah, I see what you're doing. It's an age thing.
It's a way to bully him, Haley.
And we have a sports person here. He's going to bully another sports person. He likes to bully me because he was my intern. I see how this works.
It's called truth bullying. You're just saying the truth.
Truth bullying, yeah. And she's fabulous. We also have a talent identification scout. And they watch a lot of games. We've got position profiles. Seb and I, you need to have position specific profiles, like things you look for each player, in every position, because we have a certain way that we want to play, and those remain consistent. But we also we want versatile players, like players that can play in multiple positions. So of course we've got a whole slate of attributes, and we analyze data, and we also watch video. Like, that's why it's great having Kat, because from an eye test standpoint, like, she knows good footballers, and then we can use the data to either confirm or deny what we can see for ourselves.
Yeah. And a lot of times that's just something people are like, through reps and I guess maybe natural talent, they have this ability to just look at players and go, I know what that is.
No. Yeah. And the league is also like a difficult league to moneyball in. You can't really moneyball athletes in the NWSL. But what I will say is our one of our biggest attributes, and probably the singular most important thing, is character and how an athlete's going to fit into the culture that we're building. It's the culture is not for everybody. It's here no one's more important than the club. And everything we do together, and we do it as a team. We make decisions together as a team, and obviously I'm accountable singularly, but it's everything is about the team. And so if you're going to come in with an ego, or you're going to come in, just wanting to be a superstar and look out for yourself, that this isn't the place for you. And we've passed on some athletes who are highly talented athletes because we just didn't feel like they were going to fit into the culture, and we're comfortable with that. The other thing too is with the way that the league is structured. So, the NWSL just got rid of the college draft. It's like the first major American league to not have a college draft, and that aligns it more with what you see in the international soccer.
Sure. Yeah. Tom and I have talked about that
everybody's a free agent.
Yeah. Since we worked at Orlando City, we talked about the farm,
the draft is weird to soccer specific.
Yeah. So you have to spend as much time recruiting as you do scouting.
Right.
You got to really have a good sort of pitch deck and an idea of what your sporting project is to bring these players in. And
so again, the culture is probably like to athletes coming here. Like you said, it's not a fit for everybody, but I would imagine most people like I'm sure the weather, playing around here, the fans, the people that show up. I mean, we get good crowds. I mean, these are all like boxes that we check that I know other places don't. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah.
Haley, I've always been curious to ask a soccer scout this question because, I think we're familiar with the story of in American football of a tall tight end being drafted by the NFL, but he played basketball, and they're like, oh, he's super athletic, he fits all the traits that we need. We'll teach him how to play the position. And in soccer, it seems like if you don't start at a young age, your ball handling skills just aren't there.
You don't have enough time on.
So is there a cutoff age where someone they started soccer a little too late for me to feel comfortable with them as a player? You need to start at X age.
I think it depends on the position, right? I think there's been examples historically of goalkeepers, especially that are multi-sport athletes that have played volleyball or basketball or other sports that just have phenomenal hand-eye, foot-eye coordination. They just get it. And they can pick things up really quickly. It's not that frequently that you see that, but even within the game itself, right? You look at an athlete like Hope Solo. Hope Solo was a field player until she was about 16. She didn't really convert to playing in goal until she was older. Yeah. And
that's a great little documentary if you're looking to feed your ladies soccer. Yeah, check that one out. It's good.
So I think there's examples of it, but you're right. There's a technical aspect that can't be ignored, and some athletes can pick that up really quickly. We have athletes as well in the NWSL who have incredible pace and power, but that aren't as technical. But their pace and power can compensate for it. You don't have to be very technical if you're running 34 kilometers an hour.
Right. Yeah, you're cranking down
by
the
a player. But then those are areas that you develop, right? So once we get athletes into our environment, we have a really good idea of what their sort of strengths and weaknesses are in areas for development and opportunity. And so we actually have an individual development player, coach, who specifically athletes on the technical side of things and what they need to work on to optimize their own performance. Because we really believe if you're optimizing the individual performance, you're optimizing the team. And so, yeah.
Oh, I love all of this. I love how technical this is, but I'm a diagnosed anxiety person. So as you're talking about this, I'm thinking about what you have to do day to day and how many points of contacts or how many assistants or, I don't want to besmirch anybody's title or how many people on different arms of your octopus that you have to check in with to make sure that the team's doing well. Is that something you have to do daily or is that just...
So I have the people that report directly to me, right? I do a pretty good job of keeping the number of folks that report directly to me limited. And they have quite a few people that report to them. So the head coach, reports to me. The director of scouting and analytics reports to me. The director of medical and performance reports to me. Organizationally, our chief medical officer makes medical decisions, but from an organizational standpoint, our director of medical and performance reports to me. And then our director of team ops reports to me, and then everybody else falls under that. So, I've got touch points with those four, and I kind of have to keep it limited to those four because one, they're leading, and I'm empowering them as leaders to navigate that and delegate those things. But yeah, we have pretty regular touch points. I will say, as a staff, we have a 7:30 huddle every morning that we're in just to prepare for what training will look like that day. Medical and performance are in it. The technical staff is in it. Our groundskeepers in it. Our equipment managers in it.
That's awesome.
And we go through this is what training is going to look like. If we need to make any adjustments for player loads based on treatment schedules or rehab, we can do it then. And then, once you leave that huddle, you're sort of beholden to that because that's your moment. If you need to
speak up,
there's a grievance. You got to do it then because once we hit the ground, the only adjustments we're making are adjustments on the pitch during training, and that for me is all about being loyal to the head coach, right? Because now once we leave that door, he's accountable for what happens at training, and so if you've got opinions and you don't voice your opinions in that meeting, and then I find out about your opinions after the fact, you're not going to have a very good day.
Oh, I like that.
Haley, I got one more question for you before we go, and this is kind of a media question, and the fact that you hear this a lot. And
I bet she hates the media.
But I want to know how.
I hate the media, and I'm part of it.
You hear in all sports, like the media, like, "Oh, this coach lost the locker room," and that gets thrown out. And I'm always curious to I wonder how much that is true, or how much is that just a cliche saying that the media wants to, throw out there. And it's like, have you witnessed that happen? How?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's instances where that happens, and it doesn't happen overnight. It happens. It's the same way you keep a locker room, right? Like, those are daily decisions that you make that add up, right? It's like making deposits in a bank.
Sure.
And I don't think that you lose a locker room overnight. But, everybody loves a good narrative. Like, the media today, they're searching for clicks and ads, and I get it. Like, everybody's trying to drive a good narrative. I would say I usually have a pretty good relationship with most of our media outlets. I've been in the game a long time. I know a lot of the men and women and binary folks have been covering our game for a long time, and they'll reach out to me and ask me for information on background, and if we think it's necessary, we'll navigate it. But everybody loves a good narrative and a good story. And like I said, so much of what we do is a black box. And especially at my position, a lot of the work that I do is just not privy. The media is not privy to it, and there are competitive good reasons for that.
Yeah. And we like that too. I mean, obviously, as fans and wanting our team in Orlando to win, I'm glad that you
Hold
are.
on, I want to know everything.
I like her. He's got a gambling addiction. Don't talk to him.
Right. Yeah. There's that as well.
Yeah, it's that guy. He's looking for the edge, and I just want my team to win. That's the difference in you and me.
I want to make wild speculations like I know better on the internet. I love it when people, you're like, well, I know better than the coaches and players that have been doing this their whole life. I've never even played.
I do laugh at that. I'll see people posting things, and I'm like, are you hiding in the bushes at training, and I just don't see you? Where are you coming up with this information?
Haley, they don't even know the rules.
These are people that don't fully understand soccer.
It is always a good laugh when I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I've not heard that.
I like it when they get it so absolutely wrong, but they will die on the hill. But hey, thank you so much for the time today.
Listen, I appreciate their support. I appreciate y'all's support.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, it's easy to support an awesome team. You guys are so good. It goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
It's when the team wins, it's amazing how many people will show up. When you're on the slide, I still want all of our Pride fans to go out there and do what we do, because we support City. Anything purple. We love you guys. And thanks for the time today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, sorry. She's still getting used to this clicking things.
She's
kicked my ass.
A badass.
Yeah, I like her a lot. I like her a lot.
Yeah, former military,
badass sports person.
Yeah. Former player. Anyway,
coached in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
That's where they send coaches to die.
She is tough. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more of Corporate Time.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Joe is here from Fairfield and Mexico. How you doing, Joe?
All right, peeps.
It's very good to see you. Did you get new glasses?
Me too. I didn't, but you've never seen me without cans on. I think it's a hair situation.
Okay, looks good. I like. You know what? From now on, when ladies come in, if they have their hair in a way that, because, my wife will come in, sometimes it's up and it doesn't really matter. I get it. Not to say that she's not beautiful. God, you got to preface so much these days. But I feel like women, no cans anymore. We don't run headphones on the ladies. Is that sexist? Am I allowed to say that?
Should we get some new school podcasting earbuds?
I
hate those. I really
that's gross.
It's a thing.
I hate the buds.
I'm feeling like I'm going to invest in some travel buds, because I spend a lot of time in front of mics with fellas just like yourself. Yeah. And the cans are kind of
You were great on Zwane's show.
Thanks for that.
Or is it? I don't know whose show it is.
Yeah, Sanford Sit Down. We're doing it again in a week.
You did a great job. You did a very good job.
Thanks.
And I like that guy. We've known Zwane, our DJ Zwane, for I don't know. I feel like I've always known him in Orlando, and he did a very nice. That's a good little show.
I'm so proud of him. So,
very cool.
Joe, thanks for coming out and sponsoring our BDM appreciation event.
I'll throw a heck of a party too, though.
You brought party favors. You brought friends of the show, people.
Weenie ring toss.
Penis toss.
Yeah. You can say penis toss. That's fine.
I was like,
who won that? Who ended up winning?
Everyone.
Okay.
Everyone.
So
won.
it's a play until you win. It's like the duck crane.
It's a tiered situation. It was one. What do you call them things? Rings.
Rings.
One ring got one thing. 2 rings got another thing. 3 rings got the thing.
Okay.
I saw some pictures of some gentlemen playing it, and the first thing I thought is, I'm going to email this to your kids. Look what your dad did this with you.
What was great was the girls that were coming over and like recording their videos with it.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole.
Yeah.
You know the girls that were on stage.
There were some non-media girls
famous.
there.
Oh, yeah, the girls in the pool were insane.
Yeah,
the girls in the pool did not care. I would like to put in a ticket now for next year, possibly, when we do this again, I would like to have a vagina basketball. I want vagina basketball.
A vulva ball.
Yeah, vulva ball. Yeah.
It's a thing. We could do stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want. I'm going to call it boom shakalaka. And we'll just have, I feel like we could get one. You know those inflatable chairs that
I'm into this.
You know there's chairs you take and you grab the wind with them and then you Velcro them up and then you sit them and they look like a vagina?
Yeah.
It's one of those and we're just shooting basketballs
Okay,
out.
But you'd have to dunk it, right? Because
you can do it any way you want it, baby.
Or we could slime it, or we could...
Don't slime it, Joe. You know what? This close to asking you to leave. Slime it? You said slime it, Joe? Now, first of all, when anyone comes in here, if anyone comes in here and says slime it, I want to hug them. I go, you fit in with our show. But you're not supposed to say that, Joe. You're not supposed to say slime it. That's for us to say.
I say things. I can say things. I don't sit still. I don't do what I'm told.
It's Mother's Day on Sunday. Speaking of sliming it.
Yeah, you know what I like to do on Mother's Day?
And we're here for you. We're here to help you.
So if you're like me, you're in a last-minute rush to figure out something that's for you to buy, then therefore you can give. Well, this is
that why you were a little off kilter when Joe got here? Because I saw you on your phone. Okay. You asked me a question. Then you immediately started going into like gift mode when we had like 2 minutes before Joe to get here, and you're standing there staring at your phone, like were you trying to Photoshop a photo on your phone?
I don't understand.
It's the benefit of technology.
Yeah, this guy's already had Photoshop. 9 freakouts today.
It's become... You buy something for your wife for Mother's Day.
I don't have
so
anything
now the
yet.
husband has to buy.
I have nothing yet. Today is the day. Me and Maisie, we're going out.
And it kind of ties into MILFs.
Kinda.
So let's talk MILFs.
Yeah, 3 things inspired this conversation, actually. Right. First one was your party.
Yes.
There was a whole lot of Milk Patrol going on that night.
Yes.
I was so excited about it. It was fun to recognize, to watch, to see it in action, right? Number 2, my truck is in the shop, and I am driving a minivan.
Yeah, that makes you mad.
Which I'm allergic to, but it's giving me this whole new perspective. I'm having to look at the world from a new view, as if I had 4 kids in the back, and I'm trying to be sexy heading to Walmart.
It's all how you reframe it, right? It's a minivan to some. It's a bang bus to others.
There's a whole...
You know what I mean? It's all in how you look at it. Are you Dirty Sanchez or are you Joe from Fairvilla? Who are you?
Well, and now, I mean, with the dog seat in the truck, that's in the minivan.
I have a dog seat in my car, too.
So, yeah.
You know what? She's a real Florida person. Because we have dog chairs in our cars for our best friends.
Thank goodness, too.
Shout out Dansby Dennis.
The bang bus started with no back seat. Yeah. And then it seemed like they got pulled over and had to add a back seat.
Well, it went from a bang bus to a rape van. That's what happened.
My God. Hold on a second. What is TJ Miller here? What's going on?
SVU, we're going into a TV show. SVU, the white van with nothing in the back, was cool in the 70s show. Remember, he had one. And it was all soft and pillowed and cool and shaggy. Then it got weird. Yeah.
Then it came back
Then it came back around as a bang. Yeah.
And it became Bang Bus.
There we go.
I'm going to tell you when I turned on Bang Bus. When when they lost me is when all of the porn actresses, the adult actresses, signed the headliner. You lost me. It started looking gross. It started looking gross. The whole interior of the van started losing. I was okay with it when it was just a clean, rented white van, and I even liked it when they drop you off and throw the money out the window, drive away in their naked. I even supported that. And some would say I'm a monster.
But it lost its luster.
Some would say I'm a monster for supporting that. And Tom and I, we would. Those are the best ones.
And I'm weird for saying white van.
Those are the best ones. When they would push her out, and we knew it was fake.
Yeah, it's a theatrical performance.
It is a theatrical performance, no different than the performances that some people do online that are performative. You better than?
No, we discount them in our
I think
store.
they got a hate mail, and they stopped doing we can't leave the girl out and throw the money out the window anymore.
Like all girls gone wild situation.
Yeah, they only drove for like 3 seconds, then they stop the car, she runs back over, they're like, here, put your pants on.
It's a performance. She's a young actress.
It is a performance.
Anyway, sorry, Joe. Back to MILFs.
The minivan.
I feel
and
like...
then Mother's Day was the third inspiration.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Sorry.
that was the third inspiration because we bring products in here a lot. We show you a lot of the fun stuff we have in the store, but do we really talk about what it means to be a MILF? And remember, a lot of what we do is education, so it's not just being one, but how do we approach one? What is that? What does that culture really look like? So I spent some time actually pulling stats and statistics. And do you know that most people think that the term came from a movie? Do y'all know what movie it was?
No, from American Pie.
Right?
From Stifler.
Except no. Apparently, it was termed in Berkeley years before that as a classified ad. Like when they put the ads in the paper.
Yeah. Really?
MILF became a thing, and that's where American Pie picked it up.
Huh.
So it was actually a thing, and then American Pie kind of took it. This isn't like an old concept, and we're going to amplify this a little
Stifler's
bit.
mom clearly fit the bill, so there we were.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Is that Jennifer Coolidge?
Yes.
Yeah.
The chick that's doing
Is that who
what
did
commercials right now?
Yeah.
That lady
She's in
doesn't
White
age.
Lotus.
Right, yeah, she doesn't age.
Yeah. Bring that up.
Yeah, I prefer a Black Lotus, but that's just what I'm into.
I'm thinking Legally Blonde, but he goes White Lotus.
I'm just into that right now. That's what I'm into. I go through phases. Sometimes I love Latina Lotus.
All right. So how would you guys define a MILF? Like, what would MILF mean to you?
I've been thinking about this, Joe, since I knew you were going to come in and talk about MILFs. And by the way...
all morning he's been on porno. All morning.
Which it is the number 2 search term on Pornhub, by the way.
Yeah.
MILF.
Well,
wow. Number 1, Jared from Subway.
Well, just
Weird.
by definition... Everyone's a MILF to someone. Think about that. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not a MILF.
Well, no. I mean, as far as
you can't say everyone.
Well, no, every pregnant lady. I guess you can't be, or every lady who has had a kid.
They might lose it. They might lose it. It's got to be out.
But therein defines it.
Baby's got to be out.
Is a MILF specifically someone who has children?
Well, it's the first word is mother.
Okay, you know what?
It's not mature.
To answer your question intellectually, like I think you want me to. No.
Right.
In the adult video space.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of
not. It has nothing to do with children because again, that would be gross and weird because children have nothing to do with adult videos. It has everything to do with a woman who looks older but is still very attractive, maybe curvier, maybe bigger hips, maybe more nurturing.
Looks childbearing.
Or I would look at like a more regular
mature
looking non-porn star.
Girl next door.
Yeah, was that like just
non-porn star, like when we're doing the amateur stuff, like those are MILFs. That's where MILFs come from.
Okay.
I don't see a lot of. The only amateur MILFs I know would be Bareback Productions, and that's in Titusville up the road. I'm serious. I'm trying to answer this like a legit. You want a professional in here or not? What do you want, Joe?
Okay.
You come in here, you talk about sliming it up, and you don't want me to be professional now?
Somebody's got to play straight guy.
Okay, MILF.
You can age out.
I looked at Joe and I called you MILF.
He yelled it. He's like, MILF.
You know how you say it.
What if you put her hands out like Frankenstein and you said MILF and she couldn't be stopped? I'm like trying to pull you back. You pushed Joe out the window.
I don't know why I did that. I got embarrassed. I got embarrassed.
MILF.
I get that. That's why I travel with security.
It's like a fat baby yelling MILF.
So what would you consider the age range?
That's where I was going to go.
You can age out.
It goes into GILF.
Well,
I don't like GILF. I don't like GILF.
Hold on, we got you. There's a bridge there. right?
Yeah, let's burn it down. I don't like guilt.
Yeah, so guilt could be a thing, but it's a thing, right? When we think about it, when it's looked at like online, it's drawing a different age range. So many people, the greatest of MILFs, graduate into cougardom. Oh. And cougardom allows you to be in a little bit of an older age bracket. You're still taking care of yourself. You're still hot. You're still chasing the tail.
Christy Canyon's
or
a
doing
cougar.
the thing. Cougars
because she's out of MILF. Like she's one of my favorites. She made me a man, Christy
Ooh,
Canyon. I mean, she's
thank
got to
you,
be in her
Chrissy.
60s.
I feel like
but
MILF
she is still very hot.
MILF is pre-50s.
Yeah,
and so does that is a general opinion. That is a general.
But
opinion.
what about 55? I think
so,
past 55, you're out of MILF.
Or having the kids out of the house. That also can kind of take you from MILF into cougardom like prematurely.
Yeah, you know what they say? Empty nest. That's the best.
But I've seen them try to pawn off a 27-year-old as a MILF, and I'm like, no, what are you talking about?
That's Walmart hillbillies. They will take a younger.
That's a road hard.
Road hard. I wasn't going to say it. I'm glad you did. They'll take a younger road hard, a Walmarty.
Yeah.
And then they'll try to frame it like, no, you've got so many miles on you. You're a MILF. That's what I was kind of saying earlier in a nicer way.
So in general buckets, and I'm not a huge fan of buckets, but
General Buckets was my general in the military. And he was weird.
In general buckets, MILF would be your 30 to 40, has children, right? And cougar would be your 50 to... I don't feel like I'll be a gilf. I don't really want to land in that area. Like, I'd like to just work cougarness until we're like in our 80s.
To profile you? Can I profile you?
Oh,
you're
I'm
a MILF.
not scared.
You're a MILF.
Thanks so much.
You're not a gilf. Your hair's not gray enough.
If it was, though, would that automatically... Because my best friend has a silver mane that is gorgeous, and she's... But there's no gilfing. There's cougarness all the places.
You know, the gilf, I kind of feel like... I don't feel like there's a lot of gilfs out there.
Does it feel negative? How's
it
that
does
feel?
feel negative.
Right? It doesn't have this... Like, MILF is hot, but gilf is like... Huh?
Yeah,
gilf is weird.
almost better than that because
now,
the
maybe we haven't
grandma...
normalized it, right? Maybe that's on me. You know, right? A lot of new terms
we do
scare
a lot
people.
of aging education. Maybe that's something to look at. Maybe perhaps there is a gilf bias.
Right,
that we
but
should
new
uncover.
terms for people are very scary. You
Yeah.
know, like we need to normalize gilf. Let's have a gilf competition and find the hottest gilf.
So,
Ooh!
Right?
I might be into it.
I also feel like MILFs also represent a more regular, everyday person, as opposed to like there's this porn actress, and I'm sorry, Joe. It's the
Why are you sorry?
Oh, why are you apologizing to me? We probably have her movie.
This is on brand, man. This is on brand. You're nailing it.
I really appreciate the respect, but
well, because I feel like this.
Who are you talking about?
It's a blonde lady, and she's been in a lot of MILF videos.
Lisa Ann.
It may be Lisa Ann.
No, Lisa Ann's a brunette.
But
I know what you're talking about.
she's almost too
polished.
Yes, too polished and too like she's
Too Hollywood. Too porn.
extremely
Too
into
porn.
working.
Like
working
she doesn't
out.
take care of
Yeah,
herself.
she's
She's got
the-
a glam squad.
Are you talking about?
and she's a
Are you talking about Corey Chase?
Corey Chase? Corey Chase.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah,
You're
Nice.
a pervert.
I knew
Yeah,
Daniel
you know
was
what?
a pervert.
or
almost-
a frequent shopper. Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you something. I am almost stand-up comedian level pervert. Stand-up comedians are so perverted,
It
and they
doesn't
know
take
all
much.
the porn stars.
Do you know,
Like
I was engaged to him.
stand-up comedians. They
literally,
know all the
yeah.
porn stars. Me, I'm right under them. Right under them. I have to work at it.
But she almost.
I don't feel like you're right there though. You're level.
I do research for you, man.
She's like not normal enough looking.
She's
I don't
too
know.
muscly for me.
She's great looking, obviously.
Oh,
but
She
she's
doesn't
beautiful.
look like she takes care of kids all day.
She's
yeah,
beautiful,
yeah.
but
Or just-
she's
or
working out
more
a lot.
average.
She's too muscly to be a MILF to me because MILFs are doing like a lot of momming, and that's not sit-ups.
What I'm watching your face about, it's so sweet because you're like average isn't right. It's not average. But what I like the idea between like polished and living in a natural zone.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Because
Well,
I feel
he's
like that's
also-
what that MILF situation is. Like there's a hotness to a woman who has soft lines.
Yeah,
Sure,
no, 100%.
sure. There's
Yeah.
also to me, like it can go the other direction where you can have a woman that's got some masculine features that are very chiseled,
Ooh.
and they work.
Oh,
You know what
and
I mean?
that's
Like,
milfy.
Yeah, it is.
So look, we've just uncovered again the buckets don't work.
No,
You know?
yeah,
a MILF is a chick with chicks that, or a chick with kids that you find attractive. Apparently.
Yeah,
I feel like I
now,
agree with you.
even if
Corey
they don't
Chase-
have kids, though, we agree that also falls in the MILF bucket.
Corey Chase breaks the illusion. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
She just happens to be older.
I don't think Joe knows this, but I think secretly, and we could go back a little bit, and you were explaining it. This guy's in it for the fantasy. And when you look at her, like, she's very beautiful, but you don't go, oh, you're a mom.
It's not feeding the MILF thing.
You know who's a great MILF? Jocelyn Jane.
This guy's crushing it.
I was going to say, do you want to read the statistics? Because I feel like you're part of that.
I've never been prouder. That was well done. He's right. Because she's got a more natural, less workout body.
I saw it exactly, actually.
Yeah.
The ass moves when she walks.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's got to move. I love the move.
Little jiggle in the wiggle.
Yeah, Maisie calls that on Andrea. She calls it a flutter. I was like, oh, I like that. Let it flutter,
yeah,
baby.
that's fun.
Yeah.
And then she slaps my ass. And
So
says,
do we want to know like
ass.
how MILF is a thing? Like it's a serious. It's not only number 2 searched on Pornhub. It's the number 2 term searched by men. Period, and the number 3 for women.
The irony of period.
Well,
menopause.
Well, okay, let's think about this for a second, because I thought about like why people do like MILFs so much, and it's like I tend to gravitate toward that because it's what your reality is around you, right?
How about it's accessible? It feels accessible.
Yes, and so like
it's not Golden Tower sex.
I thought you were going to take mine when you said accessible. I was thinking you were going to say success. That I'm attracted to women that have foundation, meaning they got a job and they can do some stuff and they got some kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have something to offer.
Well, they're also
that's sexy.
They're older.
Their stuff can do my own thing.
They're more mature.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also most men our age, obviously, I would say the 35 to 50, that's the only women we're surrounded by. Think about it. Like I'm at Typhoon Lagoon with for my son's birthday party. All my friends' wives are there,
Yeah.
and they're all MILFs.
Oh my god!
Although
I'm
your pool party,
fantasizing about it.
your pool party though,
too far?
I know the women that are there. They've been in our store. The side chicks were repping.
Oh, you're talking the BDM pool party.
They were so like the MILFs of MILFs. It was literally what made me go, we need to talk about this because localized, we are living amongst them.
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying? The women that are
100%.
wives that have mothers that drive the minivan, and I saw them in bathing suits, and I was like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So the MILF thing, like you said, that's what but it was exciting to me, and that's why I was like, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Props to Tracy. Hello.
Tracy's
so
a MILF.
good.
We can say
all
that,
the
right?
things. So we're gonna go. I said it. I'm owning that. You can say you seconded me.
Tracy has boobs out at our party too, and I almost told her to go put a safety pin on that. What are you doing?
Further.
I guess if you call your friends' wives MILFs, is that appropriate?
To both, it is only if you know them. Okay, to both of our wives, because maybe they're weird.
Who are also both MILFs, in my opinion.
But that would be a compliment to both of them, especially Crystal Van. Crystal Van would get a smile from ear to ear.
But
and Andrea would like it too, not as much as Crystal, but Andrea would still like it. Maybe they're old souls. I don't know what it is, but I know they like it.
I think we also just get to a place where we stop. Like it's not like she has to put her opinion in the mix in order to honor yours. It's factual.
Okay.
These are hot women running amongst us, and we in our maturity don't take it so personally. I can be a MILF, and so can she, and so can she.
Yeah,
but
some people they'll get like, well, you're sexualizing me, and there's no consent here.
Oh,
Shut it down. You know,
because in the term you're insinuating what I want to do to you.
Which ramps it up.
That's the F word.
And therein lies the difference.
That is what amps it up.
You're saying
it's like I want to bend
which
you
actually brings us to the next, which is
but you can't say that.
Wait, is that better? Maybe we should change it to moms. I'd like to bend over.
Like
what is that acronym?
Well, okay,
you can't
but
call
you did just bring up a statistic with this whole conversation, which is second to the term MILF is MILF and another word for booty stuff.
Oh,
so they're being looked at in conjunction with one another. Hence proving
I
your
never
point.
Google those together. I go younger with that other thing you're talking about.
Interesting.
When it's an older woman, I do not connect anything around it. Because more mileage means the road's going to need to build back better, and it's got some potholes.
Hold on.
That's just my opinion.
We can help with those things. Come see.
Yeah, filth.
Wow.
Filth. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so the demographic is exactly what you said. So tips for picking up a MILF, right? Here to help your audience. A couple things you can do if that's a
you go to Lake Mary with my dog. If I went to Lake Mary right now with my dog Dansby, in a matter of seconds, I would be getting full self-driving BJ.
I mean, there is.
I'm just saying. I said what I said.
Puppies,
I said what I said.
The whole giving away the baby thing don't work.
You give a little bit of humor. You have a West Highland Terrier, and one of these old ladies, you get her laughing. A couple of mint juleps. Next thing you know, Kentucky Derby.
Juleps. So I'm going to say we're in a season and a mood because it says that the very first tip is not to call her a MILF. Like, don't bring up the MILF thing. She'll notice the age difference, and when you point it out, it becomes a turnoff.
Oh, I wasn't going to bring it up. I was going to show her my dog and buy her tons of drinks.
Okay.
Tips for dating a MILF, right? So tip number 1, don't call her a MILF. And buying her a mint julep, I feel like, is like...
It was a Kentucky Derby fantasy, Joe. Good God. This is a hard room today.
Hold on, Joe. I'm going to have to disagree with this a little bit.
Oh, no.
Just because...
Stand on your business, Tom. Here we go.
Oh, just because, hey, we all live in reality. You understand what year it is, what year you're born.
Okay, the chat room's clowning me now. They're like, hey, MILF, you want a mint julep with me and my dog? Okay, you mother... I hate you guys.
Like, your kid has
I love you. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say, how dare you call me a MILF? Like, what?
Yeah, I feel like that wouldn't be the level of response.
Yeah, it's like,
you would just slink it in. Like, if we were role-playing and I was talking to a woman that I knew was a MILF, right? Yeah. And we were
You're
talking.
Not a teen.
Where
are you?
They would normally say something, and I'm I'm a good flirter. You know, I'm very flirty. Got it from my dad. My dad was a king.
It's the Riz.
And he had it more than me. It watered down. I got a little bit, but like I would be talking to her at the bar, and she'd say something like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink? I buy you a mint julep with my dog Kentucky Derby." I'm riding this thing down to the grave. Yeah. I'm like, "Can I buy you a drink at Kentucky Derby party?" And she's like, "Oh, you don't need to do that, young man." Like, let's say she said that, and I'd be like, "Whoa, young man, you're my age." Hey, I'm off to the races.
Oh, that's it.
Subtlety.
So that's what I was going to say, because being called a MILF by someone within your peer-ish group is not a turnoff.
Or you say something like, young, please don't call me that. I do not. I'm this age, and I like mature people, and that's why I came here, to hopefully hang out with some mature people. Boom, I'm already off to the races. I already got a whole thing.
So this rule does not apply to you, clearly, but Tom, it might.
You know what it is?
There's a lot of rules.
It's because of American Pie and the fantasy of the young man getting with the older woman. So
that would be all the way back to, like, what was that movie with Dustin Hoffman?
So
it's a very, very famous movie about The Graduate. Was that what it was? Wasn't that about an older woman and a very young man?
So I could see how someone would take it like you're insinuating this fantasy that you're young and I'm older than you. See what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's insulting. But if, you could have a MILF fantasy from a person your own age, because they're in the category of MILF, because that's their age range.
But I don't want that. I want older.
Yeah.
So the top tips about the tips from an older woman are like, don't bring games, don't bring drama, don't pretend like you know more. Like, bringing the fantasy is going to, like, remove it for her. You know what I'm saying? But if you step in like the repairman, or like, you can fix my pipes, or like my liquids are flowing, or whatever weird things that they do, right? The service guy thing, then you're in like Flynn.
The repairman always stays under the sink.
Yeah,
always yeah, he never takes his head out of the sink.
Yeah, and it's a better life in there. Don't take your head out. It's terrible out here.
You're like, you thought this was your wife? Like, you know the difference. Yeah, it's someone else.
If I peeked, like if I'm laying there and I peeked and I notice it's not my wife, I'm staying there. Just telling you.
Yeah. But like, you're getting more comfortable. You're where the roaches and the goddamn bugs.
Oh, where did this all go?
Well, I'm just saying, he never gets out of there. Yeah. Anyway,
don't be that guy.
Okay, we'll leave on this. We'll leave on something whimsy. Something whimsical. Hottest TV mom.
Ooh.
You got one?
Because of my age, I'm going Suzanne Summers from Step by Step.
That's a good one. I was going to say Roseanne when she came back, MAGA. MAGA Roseanne when she came back. Hold on, I'll play for real. Hold on. Hottest TV mom, honestly, would have been around the same time, and this is gonna. Well, no, not around the same time. This might surprise you. The blonde woman I find extremely attractive from Modern Family. The main matriarch.
Yeah. Okay.
She's kind of got muscle.
She's like a Corey Chase.
Yeah,
she's like a Corey Chase.
Yeah, so that's where I was going. Was like the Terminator chick,
hot.
Linda. What's her name?
Linda
with
Blair.
The arm, who had the kid and the. Right.
Beautiful.
Okay. So there we go. So when you're looking for something for your favorite MILF this Mother's Day,
There you go.
Be sure to stop by any one of our locations. We love being with you guys. And cheers to all the MILFs in the room.
You guys are the best. Lingerie, pajamas, whimsical, fun. I'm using whimsical too much. Fun gifts for
Novelties.
parties. Novelties.
Yeah. Smut books.
Yeah, roast and toast mugs.
Yeah, bath and body care.
Cards that are better than any drugstore. You need some spicier cards.
So good.
Lingerie.
Yeah.
Yes,
There are so many
shoes.
new festivals popping up lately and apparently y'all are going to have to add more cowboy hats and boots because
All
there's
the
like
things.
25 more country fests out there now.
They're coming. Our Sanford store is plugged with them right now.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're looking for them, come to Sanford for sure.
Yeah, get those costumes now, guys. You don't want to be like waiting to the to the last minute before you get your festival wear.
Or your summertime wear. We've got all the bathing suits too. So,
Yep, there you
guys,
go.
we appreciate you. Thank
No
you.
problem.
We love you, Joe.
All the information at fairvilla.com, and we'll see you tomorrow.
That's good because I'm rolling. You might as well roll with me.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, we're getting feedback, Ted, before we start.
I should hope so. You want? So I'll give you some fucking feedback. Watch this.
Hold on.
Like this. This is what I wanted. Hell yeah.
Are you getting some feedback?
Yeah. That's some real rock and roll right there.
So we hear ourselves on Ted's.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hold on.
I don't know why we hear you, Ted.
How about now? Any
It's just like an echo on your end. I apologize.
I hate echoes on my end. God, that's like
I'm gonna go in here and adjust a few things.
I've got my settings the same I always do.
All right.
You mean to
Try that.
Okay.
Go to here.
Hold on.
Invented has better technological capabilities than your technological advanced people in the industry?
Yeah.
A magic moment. Echo.
Can you-
Echo.
We're good now.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Yeah, we'll just make the best out of it. Tom, start.
Okay.
I would make the best out of it if I were you.
Yeah.
Welcome
So
to
which one
Corporate
is Tom and which one is Dan?
I'm Dan. That's Tom.
Yeah.
And what's
Dan with the beard,
Yes,
Tom
sir.
without the beard. Okay.
What's on your mind, Nuge? Because we know we got bears here in Florida. We got an old man. He's no longer with us. And then we get an email from you saying that, hey, let's talk to, you want to talk to Ted Nugent? We're like, we've always wanted to talk to Ted Nugent, but he must have a problem with what's going on with the wildlife in Florida. So why are we talking to you today, Ted? Help us out here, man.
Well, Dan and Tom, I'm really a different character because I actually give a damn. I actually care. I actually am involved. I dare. I'm so extreme and radical, I actually experiment in self-government and consider myself in a legitimate and official authoritative we the people. So I'm working in all 50 states. Gentlemen, if you would discover the curse, the scourge of anti-nature, anti-American, anti-freedom, anti-hunting, anti-fishing, anti-conservation, anti-ranching, anti-farming that just throttles in every state with regulations that take your tax dollars to kill lions and bears and deer and elk and antelope and moose. The USDA actually has a gang of hunters, and I hate to use the word gang because I know these guys. They happen to be the greatest hunters in the world, and they get paid with our tax dollars to kill these animals that we're not allowed to kill. And we're not allowed to use hounds and bait for bear and cougar in many places, but the government hires people with our tax dollars to kill those animals that we didn't responsibly harvest an adequate surplus of. So now they're in the liability column, and this horrible incident in Florida is so heartbreaking because I thought Ron DeSantis was a conservative. I thought conservative, constitutional, conservation, those are the battle cries of the best lifestyles in the world. The Constitution, conservative values, God, family, country, rainbow flags strictly as a symbol of nothing. So my battle cry is that Floridians,
I've heard that before. I've heard some conservatives say they want the rainbow flag as a symbol of nothing.
Yeah, well, they should have it shoved up their. What I'll do is I'll wrap it in barbed wire and have Mike Tyson cool cue.
That's a quote.
Hold
right
on,
there.
hold on,
There.
Ted.
Do you feel the love? Do you feel the love?
We do, Ted, but I didn't understand the yeah.
Hold on.
Tom, question for Ted Nugent.
Ted, I wanted to talk to you about this bear attack. Okay, this is being reported as the first ever fatality caused by a black bear in Florida.
Yeah,
and so. No other person has ever been killed by a black bear here. In fact, I've lived in Florida all my life. No one's that I know is an outdoors person is ever afraid of black bears.
I've never. It's been 42 incidents over the course of time. I did research on it,
and so no one's ever been killed by one. And even now, like I'm curious to. How this person, he was 89 years old, and he was like his dog and him were found dead, but there's not much other evidence out of like was the guy killed by the wounds he obtained by the bear? Did he have a heart attack during the attack? You know what I'm saying? Like there's all these. Still unanswered questions about how he died in this bear attack because as you know, Ted, animals like black bears, like grizzly bears kill humans and will eat them, but black bears normally, they've attacked people before, but not anything fatal. So what's your take on that?
Well, Tom, Booby, you got to get out of the studio more often because black bears kill 10 times as many people as grizzly bears. Black bears kill people on a regular basis. And let's not get into the numbers, but this is not the first fatality in Florida. My battle cry is that there are so many runaway, rampant nuisance complaints where kids are chased home from school bus stops, livestock is destroyed, and your and my tax dollars go to pay the ranchers and the farmers to compensate them for black bear destroyed livestock. And the black bear population, coming from the actual eyewitness boots on the ground, people who live in black bear habitat, which happens to be statewide now, the black bear is dangerously and irresponsibly overpopulated in Florida. There are so many nuisance complaints where the law enforcement, the Fish and Wildlife Commission, who, boy, I could scold them, they respond to nuisance complaint. Right now, the facts are irrefutable. The black bear is in the liability column in Florida. The black bear is a magnificent beast. It's a spiritual beast. It's a delicious beast. It's an exciting beast. It's an apex predator. They are so overpopulated, and that Florida doesn't have an annual, responsible, science-based, sustained yield, habitat carrying capacity, population dynamics. If bears are being killed in downtown Naples by Mercedes-Benz and being seen on a regular basis, I keep in touch with the cops down there, that is an irrefutable indicator that there are too many black bears. You can't have a black bear population and not have an annual harvest because the old boars are sending these sows and cubs into marginal habitat where people live and where livestock is because the big-headed trophy boars, and I don't care what you think about trophy, every meal is a trophy. I mean, I had lamb last night and that was a trophy. The thing is, the black bear, based on eyewitness and irrefutable evidence, is irresponsibly overpopulated in Florida. I want, as all conservationists want, a thriving, healthy wolf, coyote, bear, cougar, panther. We want a healthy, thriving balance, but we don't want dead people, and we don't want our tax dollars to pay USDA hunters to clean up the mess that we're not allowed to maintain on a quality level. Right now, we're doing damage control, where an annual bear season is about 20 years overdue, and that would be quality control instead of damage control. This guy didn't need to die, and I do care how he died, but I don't really care the system by which he died. He was confronted by a sow and cubs, based on all information available right now, and for whatever reason, he's dead. That sow and cub should have been afraid of people because they were hunted, and they should have been in prime bear habitat instead of marginal bear habitat where an old guy's walking the dog. The fact remains, there has to be a black bear season in Florida to put it in the asset column instead of a dangerous consideration of an apex predator that is currently in the liability column. So let's go bear hunting. I'll get you rug steak. We call them rug steaks because it's delicious, beautiful rug, the skulls, the
rug
claw,
steak.
The restaurants, the food, the lodging, the gas,
like
the guides,
that.
the outfitter, the license, the fees. That bear should have brought in tens of thousands of dollars into the economy and not have confronted a man walking his dog.
But Ted, I think we can both agree that obviously hunting has been a way to maintain healthy animal populations in a lot of instances, and when you have too many of one animal, it throws the balance off and can cause problems with even that own animal's own numbers, right?
Sure,
it's like better for the bears as a whole. I don't know. Here's the thing. Ted knows more about this than I do, but I know that animal populations, it can be worse for the actual population to be overpopulated. More of that same animal will die than even the hunters would kill because it's, so there's got to be a balance.
Tom, amen.
But also, Ted, I also know marketing and using this as like black bears are dangerous all of a sudden.
But now we haven't. Let's open up. Let's get some hunting going.
That's also BS, Ted. And I know it's like that's the easy way for people to vote. Like, oh yeah, let's have black bear hunting season because now I'm afraid of black bears. And I'm here to say you shouldn't be afraid of black bears because I lived here in Florida forever, and black bears don't attack people.
Well, I've lived here for 48 years. I've never even seen one.
Yeah. And it's like, and I know that this guy died recently, but I'm just like, it's never happened ever. Like, you're way more, dogs are more dangerous for sure than bears, but it's like, this has never happened where a bear has killed a person in Florida.
Tom, you're wrong. There is documented cases where people have been attacked outside of Orlando, down by Immokalee. Yes, a lady was killed when she went into her yard, and two giant black bear boar were fighting, and they ended up killing her. And let's say the information I got regarding that incident is wrong. There are so many documented cases of people being frightened to death, almost to death, and they've been attacked, they've been injured, and you say that black bears are not dangerous. I mean, that is such a ridiculous statement. I mean, black bears kill people in state and federal parks every year. They threaten people, they attack people, they're being killed in self-defense where they're overpopulated. I want a thriving black bear population. It's a magnificent animal. It's really a special animal. When you're in the wilderness and you're hunting, whether it's deer or elk or moose or whatever it might be, and a black bear shows up, something very special happens. In the Native American lore, it is a spirit beast. But the spirit beast needs to be managed within the carrying capacity of its habitat. And I don't want to hear about being encroached with all the development, because black bears and deer and cougar and elk and all these animals, coyotes, wolves, they can live in your cul-de-sac, and they do. Bears breed in Pittsburgh because they're so adaptable. We have more black bears in America than ever in recorded history. More cougars than ever in recorded history. More turkey, more geese, more deer. And it goes on because we manage them so that they don't overrun their habitat. And right now the black bear in Florida has overrun its habitat. It needs to go in the asset column.
Then why for years, though, growing up, me, Tom, both native Floridians, I'm 48, Tom's 43,
I'm 77.
But why would we never, as guys that lived in this state forever, the black bear has always been told to us as being a very, very timid, shy, docile, doesn't have
scared.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, they probably told you that Dr. Fauci is a health expert too.
I was told that. Someone did tell me.
Fauci!
Yeah. Someone did tell me that.
I've been waiting to scream Fauci for a while with you, Ted.
Obama.
Docile and shy. It's like I have people that live in Upper Michigan that have never seen a bobcat. Do you think that means there's no bobcat? They're not docile. They're not shy. They're not timid. They're extremely elusive.
So, Ted,
you could be living within spitting distance of a cougar and a bobcat and a coyote and a bear, and you'll never see them. I literally live on wild ground in Michigan and Texas here, and I have to work very hard to find a deer, but there are thousands of deer on my property. These animals are incredibly crafty because they're supposed to be afraid of human beings. And in Florida, bears are not afraid of human beings, and they're not docile. Maybe you might want to talk to the lady who thought the bison was docile in Yellowstone, which she tried to give him a marshmallow.
Oh, hold on. They're like raccoons here, Ted.
Propaganda.
Ted,
you have been brainwashed.
You know how many times I've seen my friends that the bears are in their trash like raccoons, and they're like, "Get out of here!" They run away, or whatever. It happens. Thousands of videos of bears in trash. They're like a giant raccoon. But regardless, Ted, how did the bear Okay, because you've heard this before. Like, if it's black, fight back, brown, lay down, and white, good night, because a polar bear will just kill you no matter what you do. But like a grizzly bear, if you play dead, sometimes it'll leave you alone. And a black bear, we've always been told, like, fight back with a black bear because it'll scare it away.
Ted seems to hate your analogy.
Well, you've heard that before, Ted.
Tom, Dan, I'm here to help. You know I'm here to help, right?
Yeah.
You have just repeated the absolute bullshit propaganda. Where'd you get that information about bears from?
My pop-up told me, Ted. My pop-up lives in the Everglades.
I was told that by Anthony Fauci.
Listen, I grew up here in Florida. My pop-up had a place in the Everglades near where this bear attack.
Yeah, it's close.
He saw the decimation of the Everglades with the all the pythons out there. The
invasive species.
All the invasive species. He showed me pictures of Florida panthers out at Loop Road and in the Everglades, and
Ted,
now you never see them anymore.
What do you think about the introduction of the Texas panther into Florida? Somebody in the chat room.
I happen to know, based on your own Florida Wildlife Commission statistics, there are no more panthers. They haven't found a pure genetic panther in like 25 years, because when you bring in the cougars, they're all the basic catamount. They're all cougars. They're all the same species generally, but they have subspecies. And once they brought in the Texas cougars and they interbred with the Florida panthers, the pure Florida panther gene, it's gone. And by the way, when you say you haven't seen a bear, you haven't seen a cougar, you know damn well they're there. And I know you guys party hardy, and the bears and cougars probably don't show up at your favorite watering hole. But people who live and ranch in the outdoors in prime habitat, they know that there's abundant cougars. They're not panthers anymore. And I would welcome the Fish and Wildlife Commission guy to come on and just eat his lunch like I did with Pierce Morgan. Here's a little tip. If you're going to have an arm wrestle with Ted Nugent, you might want to bring an arm, because they're absolutely lying bureaucrats. You have the highest density of cougars. They're not panthers anymore than you've had in over 100 years. You've got more black bear than ever in recorded history in Florida, and it is a magnificent big game animal that should draw the real conservationists, once again, to keep that population under control so that it doesn't cause a threat. And just because you haven't been threatened doesn't mean Tom has never seen one, so that's our guidance.
He says that a lot.
Do that a lot. Ted, now you're getting our audience behind you.
This is his bit on the show. We call it Miami Friend Syndrome. I need to make sure you know about this guy. If he hasn't seen it, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the outdoors people that I know too, no one's ever like, hey, be careful of these black bears.
We both have always heard that you're not supposed to be concerned about black bears.
But Ted, how are they?
I thought you just said they're in the dumpster. I thought you just said your buddies see them in the dumpsters like big raccoons. That's the reality.
Yeah. That's what people see. They just scare them off, and that's I have heard people like the ladies throwing out her trash, and there's a black bear in there, and like swiped at her, got her while I was running. Like that. We've all heard attacks like that. But I'm curious, like a grizzly bear. You heard accounts of like brown bear, grizzly, like they talk about like that's the worst way to get killed because a grizzly will eat you alive, essentially. And like you're talking about panthers, like cats will bite your neck to kill you first and then eat you because that's how they kill their prey. So they're like,
generally speaking, Tom, a salute to you. Generally speaking, those are the general realities of the methodologies by these apex predators, but it's not written in stone. They do all kinds of things. You don't know this. You should have me on more often because I can help. The Fish and Game of Alaska killed 96 magnificent brown bears from helicopters because they refused to issue more licenses. Those bears could have brought in millions of dollars and saved the moose and the caribou populations, which was their claim. But see, the game agencies are not to be trusted. Here in Texas, Texas Parks and Wildlife will cut the lock on your gate and come in and slaughter all your healthy deer looking for chronic wasting disease that has never hurt a deer herd, and it can't be transmitted to human beings. I work with these biologists and these specialists, epidemiologists, and the wildlife departments in every state are full of anti-hunters and animal rights people, and I'm afraid that's the guiding light in Florida regarding black bears. The season should be open, just like the deer season, just like the turkey season, just like the hog and the alligator season, the dove season, the quail season. It's a game animal. It's not a cartoon, and it is dangerous. And if one comes at you, you go ahead and play dead. I'll shoot him between the eyes with my 10 millimeter.
Well, I'm going to fight if they're back, if they're black, if that's the thing, Ted. But no, Ted, I do agree with you. Listen,
what color was that now?
I agree with you, and I don't trust the government either, and I think they do things horribly. And I see what you're saying. It's like, well, the government, they're like, you can't hunt these things, like the population, but we have to kill them because they're overpopulated.
Which is why we have 3 dead bears now, right?
Yeah.
And we don't even know if those 3 bears are the ones, or do we?
They're doing DNA testing to see.
Guys, if they're getting hit by Mercedes in Naples, let me tell. And again, this is not it's not like a Ted Nugent hunch. When people see me on the street, they go, "Hey, Uncle Ted, I love your political views," and I go, "Hang on a minute. The Constitution isn't a view." My politics are written in stone, self-evident truth, logic, and common sense. The point is that when you have a bear season in every state that has a growing population of black bears, the hunters will target the old males. Just something about the big-headed old males that are responsible for killing more cubs than any other cause.
Yeah.
And when we identify those using bait and hounds, and we can identify that older male is dominating prime habitat, and he's sending those lesser animals downtown into the dangerous areas. So a bear season, it's not Ted Nugent's hunch. I don't have an opinion about black bear populations. I live by the science of sustained yield, where these magnificent creatures should be harvested annually to keep them in the asset column. You can't argue against that without making a fool of yourself.
Yeah, no, you're right, Ted. I mean, we all know
I'm
how.
Right. It's a burden I have to carry.
You know what I
You're just
figured
saying
out?
it in a way that I think makes people mad, or it's funny though.
You should remember that.
Poor people's feelings. Well, you hurt their feelings when you said if it's black.
You are Castleberry Ted Nugent. You do the same thing that Ted does on this show, and you make people mad, and all of the listeners hate you. And they'll be like, "Oh, why you say it like that, Tom?"
Yeah, how many people hate you, Ted? They hate me. I know that.
Well, Tom, I got to tell you, I have an inner circle of my band. I'm having the great. It's 2025. I'm going to be 77 this year.
Woo-woo.
I'm having the most joyous, gratifying, stimulating guitar happiness of my life with a couple of buddies of mine. We do these gigs around Texas all the time. We're doing a run in Michigan. It's called the Ted Nugent Kicker Speakeasy Rockouts. And it's just a couple buddies. We set up the amps. It's like 1962 in Detroit. And the music is pure. So my point is that I study this. I live conservation. I run a ranch and a farm. I guide hunts every year with sunrise safaris. I'm tuned in. I've been clean and sober my whole life so I can pick up accurate information to make intelligent decisions. And wildlife management demands the harvest of the surplus of certain game species every year to maintain quality air, soil, and water production from the habitat that we balance with the annual season of harvest. This isn't a hunch from the author of Wango Tango, which, by the way, was a documentary. I live the spirit of the wild. Our show, Shemaine and my show on Pursuit Channel, has been the #1. There is a united celebration of goodwill and decency, positive spirit, work ethic, God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, 10 Commandments, Golden Rule, Declaration of Independence, law and order. Those are the battle cries of the greatest quality of life. So the people that hate me literally like NAMBLA. They like reducing the term pedophile to underage attraction. Those are the people that hate us. I couldn't be more proud
Yeah, Tom uses that term, underage attraction. I've been trying to get him off that. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Plug the Nuge Vault real quick, too, because it's a subscription. You can get all your music and everything from the Nuge.
Well, I literally, I'm doing another benefit for the military today. I do it every few days. I signed thousands of these hats, and we make donations to all these different military charities. You go to tednugent.com, and there's also this Nuge Vault that Jason Hartless, my ungodly drummer, has created, digging into the vats and the boxes in my barn, finding tapes from the Lourdes, 1964, the Amboy Dukes, all through the 60s and 70s, the original Ted Nugent album demos and our jam sessions, literally interviews from thousands and thousands of jam sessions and rehearsals and outtakes. And so we created the nugevault.com, and people are just fascinated by it. And because I have such a vapor trail of energy in my life, when Jason brings up some of this old stuff from the rehearsal tapes of all these different records, it's like I listen to it and I go, oh yeah, that was KJ Knight. How tight was my band? So the Nuge Vault has unleashed just unbelievable miles and hours, days and years of past rehearsals and jam sessions, and it's just fascinating because even as a dumb white kid back in Detroit, as a pre-teenage guy, boy, I think we were auditioning for the James Brown band because my bands have always been so tight and the dynamic and such musical adventure. I've had the greatest musicians in the world at my side, including tonight down here in Texas. So I'm a lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, Ted, we appreciate anytime we get a chance to talk to you. We appreciate you coming on, setting us straight. How's the mold? The chat room is asking if that's all done. Are you guys in the clear now, 100%?
Yeah, Shemaine has written a book called Killer House. In fact, she got a new book called Abundantly Well. My wife, Shemaine, is just unbelievable. She has a Real America Voice Faith and Freedom show. And yes, we have remedied the mold by dishonest construction people, both in Michigan and here in Texas, but it's really rampant. You should hear the heartbreaking stories of people that have died because the construction people have lied about the waterproofing and the runoff and just construction 101. So it's really a far-reaching epidemic of dishonesty in the construction industry out there. But people's lives have been ruined, and it's still going on. So her book, Killer House, and her new book, Abundantly Well, are available at Amazon, and it really is eye-opening.
And Ted, can we have you back on sometime soon, and let's tackle the subject of manatees, because I'm tired of all these manatee zones and going slow on my boat, and I feel like the manatee population is bigger than ever.
Right, they're fine.
I see that Blue Springs, there's thousands of them in there.
Baby, every time I see one, it's a baby.
Yeah. You know,
well, Tom and Dan, thanks for having me on. I got a big mouth. If you take a good look at this old guy, if I had some sleep, I'd be downright handsome. But you have to deal with these ammo bags under my eyes right now. The point is I'm engaged. I'm going to have my 13th grandchild here soon. Shemaine is just the gift from God. My dogs make me happy. My band is the best, most grinding rhythm section in the world. But I appreciate you allowing me on because the Founding Fathers wanted every American to be just like me, suspicious of all authority, defy stupidity, and when our elected employees violate their constitutional oath, we need to cold cock them in the throat.
There you go.
Politically speaking.
There you go.
Get him, Ted.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it, buddy.
We'll talk to you soon, all right?
See you, man.
All right, live it up. I love you guys.
Love
Live it up. Have a great day. Kill a bear for me.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. See you, Ted. All right.
I have a gun. Let's go get one.
What are we doing? What was, okay, you guys on Reddit said you wanted more dumb old men. And I'm doing it. We're doing it. We're going all done. 2025.
Two
it's
things.
Nothing but lightning rods.
Two things.
Right? Nothing but lightning rods on this show.
One, why doesn't he have a better mic?
That wasn't us. That was him. And it really was bothering me. And then I had to take the L in the beginning, and he said, that's on you. And then I said, we got to make the best of it. And he said, I would. And he gave me one of those, like, I'd make the best of it if I were you. And I'm like, God damn it. That was not me, dude. That was not me.
No, I know.
You want to know what was happening? He had his guitar plugged in, too, and it split the channel. So the left side, when he played the guitar, you can hear it.
It's loud,
yeah. And then, like, I could have explained that to him and said, like, hey, unplug your guitar or whatever. But it just, you know. And then after he told me to shove a rainbow flag up my ass, I'm like, I was like, well, I don't know what's happening here.
Well,
so
that's
I'm
where
just
you
gonna
lose
let
them, Ted. What does the gays have to do with
the
any of
gays
it?
are not going to like if you say...
The gays like killing bears.
Yeah, they're tough. The gays are very tough.
Yeah.
You might have
They're tougher than my straight friends.
We'd probably have more gays hunting in Florida if you didn't tell them to shove a rainbow flag up their ass. You know what I mean? You got to relax on that stuff, dude.
So
you got to be nice.
So
it's just too abrasive. It's not that people always disagree with you, Ted. It's that the way that you say things. It's very much like you.
No,
very much.
Yeah.
You are Ted Nugent.
So here's the thing about like black bear hunting. Because I
still don't believe him on that because I've never been told by anybody in Florida. Okay, people that we know that do this.
Let's talk about it.
Rodney the Gator Hunter. People that we grew up and knew. Your dad, your grandpa. My dad living in Florida, not his entire life, but for 40, 50 years.
Well, Ted's argument probably at the end of the day is that the black bear population is way too high, and that's why we're getting more and more problems. And with more and more problems, eventually there's going to be a death. And look what happened. There's a death, and this is going to lead to more deaths because there's too many black bears.
Gotcha.
And they need to be controlled better. And therefore, they need to be controlled by hunting permits, blah, 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 like other animals. And I agree. They're like, and his argument is sound in the fact that if you leave a population, you let it overpopulate, then like the older
with
bears,
less habitats.
Yeah, the older bears will end up killing cubs, and like more deaths will happen.
Imagine if that happened to us. Can you imagine that?
What?
If grown men just started killing kids because there was nowhere to live.
And so his argument is like, okay, you want to protect the bear species, then you got to protect them by opening up hunting, which will actually make the bear species better in the long run, which is kind of illogical to some people. They're like, well, how does killing bears make the species as a whole better? And it's like the overpopulation has been proven to do,
and some of the things he was saying about like sick older bears, bigger bears, more aggressive bears, weeding those bears out like could improve the quality of life of the regular population. Somebody in the chat room just said that Ted was claiming that some lady was mauled and killed. Yeah, I can't find any of that. I did a deep search on ChatGPT.
All the media is reporting this death is the first death ever recorded.
I think he's mistaken on that. I do think he's wrong on that.
But my question is like, how did the guy die directly because the bear killed him? Or did he die of a heart attack? Did he die of wounds sustained by the bear? Because
they're not saying wounds; they're just saying they found his body.
Because there have been, like Ted said, black bears have killed people in other states. I read one in New Jersey where a 22-year-old college student was killed, and he was mauled to death. So that black bear up north behaved similar to a brown bear, which it actually mauled him to death. Right, so it directly caused his death, and but that's never happened here in Florida.
No,
in this one case,
it still may not come out. It still could come out that he mauled the dog. The sister called. They came, found his body. He was trying to save the dog. Had a heart attack.
Or he was mauled, and because of his age, he just died where a younger person could have...
Have you heard the 911 call? Because it's very apparent when the neighbor calls and talks to them. The 911 operator even says something to the effect of, was he running from the bear? And then the neighbor is like, he can't run. That would be impossible. He's not. He's older, he's a very old man.
Now, I don't have one say on it either way because I don't know all the... you have to go and even
wouldn't it be ironic?
I'm not a professional.
It would be ironic if the bear had a heart attack.
Like, I don't know if the black bear, if they're overpopulated now or at a level that they need to be restricted. But Ted is right where the government will, because of politics, they won't open up hunting seasons, but the population of these animals have to be controlled. So the government will go and kill them without, and he's like, you might as well let the hunters kill them to harvest the meat and
get the money. It's revenue it could be revenue.
Yeah. Don't have the government mass kill animals because they're like, okay, the population has to be controlled.
Yeah,
but
he's real big on that. Like you mentioned in this interview, he talked about people shooting a specific type of bear photos from a helicopter. He also reported
other
about
animals,
a big pack of wolves that the government just came through, and there was like a wolf habitat, and they were like, "There's too many wolves." And they just killed them all. Nobody hunted them. So
here's the problem with Ted, and it's funny because we don't. Daniel and I were talking about it. We don't even know how this happened.
Yeah, let's talk about how we became talking to Ted Nugent, because I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking they had T.J. Miller on. Who else could they get on the show that would piss people off? And I'm like, I know, Ted Nugent. Call him up. No, that's not what happened. How did this happen?
Well,
Trey, you messaged me. I was here at the studio, and you messaged me yesterday. You're like, hey, do we have anything on the calendar at X time? And I'm like, no.
So the only thing that we can come up with is that we had Ted Nugent's wife on. It was 2 years ago or something? To talk about the mold,
Charmaine,
and then
Charmaine,
and because of that interview, that their publicist team or whatever must have wrote us down like Florida show.
Yeah, like we got this weird email that I even think was like, when I read it now, it doesn't even look real. It says, "Hello from the Ted quarters."
Yeah, and
we would like to talk to you about the bear attack. And then it says, Linda, Ted Nugent's assistant. And it's like, what?
So they reached out to us to and obviously it's funny because we had no idea what he was going to, we just assumed it was probably, I was thinking about this yesterday. It's like, oh, he's probably going to.
Well, chat room said, we are the #1 conservative hunting podcast. and this is why. When you think patriot, when you think God, country, guns, when you think...
I don't know who...
when you think Constitution, when you think Declaration of Independence, who do you think of in this town? On Real Radio.
Tom and Dan.
You don't think of Monsters or Jim Colbert. You don't think of the News Junkie. Too fun. You think Tom and effing Dan.
We the people.
Yeah, we the people. We the people.
But
tomorrow, Casey Anthony. Starting the show with Casey Anthony. I'm getting and in studio.
I think she's generally hated by everyone.
Yeah. That'd be a nail. You don't want to do that one. That's a nail in the coffin. You don't want to do that one.
So I don't even know the other side of the people advocating against opening up a bear season. But I don't know the arguments. I don't know the numbers. I don't know anything.
Here's my only argument that I had about this whole thing. And it seems weird to me that you have a bear attack. Let's say the bear did attack the old man and killed the dog, right? Killed them both. Let's say that he didn't have a heart attack. I don't think that because a bear kills an old man and a dog that you should go out and kill 3 bears. That doesn't seem like it makes any sense to me because, like,
you're not even trying to find the one.
You're not even telling me you killed that bear. Now, if you followed the bear, we tracked the bear, we knew exactly where the bear was, and we killed that bear. Okay, I get it, I guess, but I don't understand what you're doing. It sounds very like something I would do. It sounds very irrational. Like, well, we have to do something, so let's just kill things.
Yes,
that's what it sounds.
They
like.
do that with sharks too, where they just keep trying to kill sharks around the area until they find the one that may be responsible for the death. And I think it's more the locals are like, it's like, oh, this is a bear that's
Why'd you Rocky Balboa there? They go, hey,
well, I'm just
there's a bear there.
Locally, they are like, the government has to do something. They're like, all right, they kill all the bears around, and then.
And I use the example of the Pornhub or the Pornhub ban. It's literally a nothing. You're just doing something to say you did something.
So, I don't know the numbers of black bears and stuff like that. That's beyond I'm doing research or whatever, but I'm sure they do. And but he's advocating towards opening up the hunting season, and what I don't like.
We got it right. That was what we betted. That's what you and I were thinking he wanted to zoom in for.
And he's doing what every politician does, and is use an example and then get behind it as a reason, right? But what I'm saying is that I get what you're saying. I just don't necessarily buy and agree with the fact you're saying Florida black bears are dangerous in any way, because in my experience living here and all that I've seen, and
I'm not kidding. I've only seen one maybe one time. I've never seen. There's
been more otter attacks.
I've seen otters.
Like, statistically, you should worry, and maybe I guess the longer argument is like, well, now it's something's different than it was your entire lifetime, where they're way overly populated because there's been no hunting season. There hasn't been a bear hunting season.
Well, that could be true. And both
did they open it up one time?
I thought they did, but both things can be true. Black bears that are born in Florida that are our native species of black bear can be, for the most part, relatively relatively docile and safe, and they could also be overpopulated. Both things can be true, right?
And I guess with the overpopulation, just by the numbers, then you're bound to have more incidents where your interaction with humans are more, and then more incidents means randomly someone's going to die or more attacks, blah blah blah. So.
Sure.
But again,
of course, Ted wants to shoot him because he likes shooting things.
Yeah. Advocate for hunting.
I don't think he's ever going to advocate against, like we shouldn't, unless it's the government doing it.
But he wouldn't advocate towards shooting something that is actually
endangered. No.
Yeah. Or like it's like not for the benefit of the population in a whole.
No.
Yeah.
He's sustainable. He does like that. But then he's also.
But then he throws a rainbow flag.
Then he puts a rainbow flag on my rear end.
But Ted, you got to get rid of that. If you're going to get people to agree with. Because
if you're going to go conservationist, you got to check your I dislike gay people stuff at the door. You got to.
Yeah.
Right?
And he may not even
bring that even in.
He may not even be saying that. Who knows? Because he's in a whole different realm.
I'm not
of
saying
argument.
he does. I'm just saying that was an aggressive thing to say about the rainbow flag, right? You didn't need to say it like that.
Yeah. Who knows what the hell he's been arguing with Pierce Morgan about?
I don't even know why we got an email from him.
Yeah.
He's like, I was just talking to Pierce Morgan, and then I thought I need to go on Tom and Dan. I'm like, I guess if you want.
And we didn't even have him play his guitar, which is the reason why his mic didn't work. Which the audio was bad. It was bothering me the whole time, too.
I almost asked him at the end to play his guitar just to validate him.
Yeah, I almost stopped him. Can you plug in a mic so we could hear you better? Because we have you potted up.
He doesn't have any headphones. The echo was just his iMac blasting it like an old man into his ears.
Yeah. Because then we were hearing ourselves before we had it. I was like, oh, God.
Fault. And nobody else is there. It's just him in the woods alone. No one there to help. He needs a young boy to troubleshoot things for him, right? You need an audio boy. Hey, get over here, audio boy. Something's wrong with this. It's Chinese garbage. Help me out here. Man. We have a weird job. I blame that on Tracy. Interview? Tracy did that. Thank you, Tracy.
I just want
Tracy told me that to balance out how liberal and how weak you and I are, that she's going to start booking her favorite conservative guests to balance out the show.
So when a black bear does kill someone, let's say out of Florida, because he's talking about other black bear attacks, and I think his stats are true. Black bears are more prevalent, so I think just based on numbers, there are more black bear attacks. But do they kill you like a grizzly bear?
No.
They hold you down and eat you to death?
Way more methodical.
Or is it
they
kill you by wounds?
They tie you up. And I think they...
because I'm just curious.
Which way would you rather be eaten? Would you rather be eaten from the top of your head down or from your feet up?
No, head down. Yeah, I want to die faster. I don't want to be slowly
But if you die slower, you might be able to escape.
Well, that's a whole different... You said which would I rather... Eating presumes that I'm dead no matter what.
The bear's going to start eating you.
If I'm dead no matter what.
You're not dead. You're just injured. And the bear's going to start devouring you.
It started with my feet. Because,
right.
Yeah,
maybe. It gives you some time.
Yeah, and then I may be able to poke its eyes or something. I don't know if that'll work.
I think you know what? I've thought about this before. I would start making love to the bear or trying to pleasure it in some way.
There's
I would go right into prison.
There's lots of stories about people that have escaped grizzly attacks and stuff, and it is the most frightening accounts of being starting to be eaten and stuff. And the person
they start saying things like, "I could hear my skull fracturing."
Yeah.
Cut that out.
And then you got
that.
This 1,200-pound gigantic mammal. This head, it's like, God, that's crazy that thing is attacking you and you're trying to fight for your life.
Yeah. I didn't even like it when
insane.
Girls that were bigger than me would get on top. It was I'd be like, get off of me. Help. Being smothered.
Anyway, so that was a random Ted Nugent interview.
Yeah, that was anyway. Yeah, every once in a while we're going to do this little thing called random mistake. It was fine.
It's either that or people are like, "Whoa, that's a weird thing."
Who do you guys want to talk to, EJ or Ted Nugent? It's your pick. It's your pick.
I'm surprised at his age too. That
he looks pretty good for his age.
He's even bothering to still get out there and promote hunting in Florida.
Well, he really does enjoy. Now that I believe. Some of the
He's
politics,
a hunting activist.
and I do think he's a conservative. But a lot of the rainbow flag thing being like saying things that are like overly aggressive, alluding to us like getting into fights with our congressional leaders, violence, like those are all little things that he's always done, right? He knows how to whistle those really, really well. But I think one of the things, and one of the only two things I think he truly loves are being outside and music. Because when he talks about him, he changes into a person you can tolerate. When he talks about the other stuff, you're like, I don't know about this guy. When he talks about his love for Motown and all of the great rhythm sections of Detroit, and when he starts talking about like music and how much he loves it, you see a different human. When he starts talking about like keeping animals safe or protecting his his land, he seems like a pretty decent guy.
But he also must like going back and forth in the arguments and stuff. He's still doing this. He's still like doing media.
But it's part of his persona now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say like he's also plugging his thing, but I'm like, I feel like this is, got to be a pain in the ass, like getting on shows, argue, so like
he's not even
arguing with me.
We're messing at all. Yeah, he was just like.
But it's like at 77, like I'm not doing that. Like I'm like the hell no.
Oh my god! I have nothing left to say now, and I'm locked in. I have to.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna hunt and do my thing and enjoy my family. He's got 17, how many grandkids or whatever? It's like I'm hanging out with them.
When people start telling me that, I start thinking, well, it's hillbillies.
No damn way that I'm getting on my computer and then calling some random show. And
I gotta call Tom and Dan.
Mixing it up with about some Florida, some state that I don't even live in. You don't live here. I don't care what happened. Like other states, like I'm.
But he's got a bear in the fight.
At 77 years old, he's still got it. Still got at least the motivation to do this. Crazy to me. Anyway,
that's crazy to me, baby.
I can't believe you were still willing to get on your computer and talk to some strangers about black bears.
Maybe when he stops doing it, he dies, right?
I guess, yeah.
It's like finding purpose in life.
Anyway, also I feel like Ted Nugent isn't as polarizing as he once was, and like we're at a different 10 years ago, Ted Nugent's like, oh, yeah, like, you can't have him on your show because even when he had his wife on, we were like, oh, people are going to like, but now
I kind of hate that because I like talking to anybody and just to see what they have to say. And then if they say some crazy stuff.
Yeah, but even then, but Ted Nugent doesn't seem as controversial as he once was, right? Maybe to some people, but
I think he still is. He's not as active. He's not as active in the current administration. I don't think he likes it. I think he's very anti-government. I think he's almost anti all of it. I think maybe at one time he was a Trump supporter, but I think now I'm starting to see a lot of the guys that I pegged as regular conservatives aren't necessarily like MAGA conservatives. I don't know. Not getting political. I'm just saying. I think a lot of people like have jumped ship and they're like, I don't want to do any of it. I just want to be free. He seems sort of like that with he's like freedom.
Like libertarian.
But with I hate the rainbow flag and stick it up your ass. Whatever that is, I don't know.
It's the most fun flag.
It is the best flag. I like that flag.
It's like, I don't know.
It sucks because like if somebody laid flags out and said pick the one you want, I'd pick that one first. Because it's the most fun. Yeah, pick the most fun flag. I'm like, oh, this one rules. It's got every color in the world. This is awesome.
Anyway, weird. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube right now. We'd love it if you join us. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live wherever you get your podcasts.
He's going to be at the Hurricane Party May 31st. You can get your tickets at westinvenue.com.
How many hurricane parties is this? 14, 15, 16? It's a lot.
It's in the teens.
I'm sorry I put you on the spot. But yeah, if you haven't been to the Hurricane Party, it is a festival, basically a festival of reggae here in our beautiful state of Florida, in our beautiful city of Sanford. And on the line with us right now, and I've been wanting to talk to this man for so long. I have been wanting to talk to you since 1994. Dub 56. There's a song called Legal Shot you did with the Toasters. Is literally, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I'm like I'm fanboying big, but on the line with us right now, Cooley Ranks. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Respect, man. I appreciate that, man. That's crazy.
Legal Shot. No, the song Legal Shot.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
When that comes, when the horns come in, I still get goosebumps. And then you like, never fear, Cooley Ranks is here. I'm like, wow, he's here. He's here. Like seriously, like that song gets me so hyped. It gets me so. And that was at a time when I had gotten into punk rock and ska. And for some reason, and maybe you can help me with this, it was weird to see a legendary ska band of all white guys, and I was like, what is this beautiful, authentic Jamaican sound I'm hearing? Why does this sound so authentically real? And that was you, and that's how I came to be introduced to you. So, hey, thanks for being on the show, man.
You're welcome, man. It was a crazy journey to get there. You know, it was a crazy journey to get to the Toasters. Well, I was definitely in the hood with all the Jamaicans, you know. That's my environment, that's my upbringing, that's my culture, that's my family, you know what I mean? So getting to the Toasters was like such a diversion from where I was heading. My trajectory was straight Jamaica, you know what I mean? Straight Jamaican dancehall and everything like that.
Yeah.
So when I got into the Toasters, it was just like a dare. Someone dared me to be in the Toasters, a manager lady. Because I used to fool around with so many different sounds in the studio. So, you know, I'd let her hear some of the stuff I do. And she was like, well, why don't you try this out? You know, when we go on a tour, they need a front man. They just lost 2 front men. Do this and then go back to the dance hall. That was the plan. I wasn't even going to stay there long. I was just going to do this tour, go to Europe and come back.
Yeah.
And stayed there. Kind of liked it. And left because it was still weird for me, you know, 'cause I'm straight hood, right? So it was kind of weird. So I left that time and came back. So that when you see that record right there, that's the second time me being involved with the Toasters.
Yeah, well, there were and it's interesting to hear me say that as a fan, or hear you say that as a fan, because I kind of would dig in as a young man into ska, and I'd be like, well, he was featuring on some things there, or he was on some tracks, but he didn't seem like a full blown member. And then I knew he was a full blown member. I actually got a chance to see you guys at the Milk Bar in Jacksonville. Man, and there were racist skinheads in the crowd, and then the non-racist skinheads came, and then they did their business and handled it all. And I've told the story on our show before, but as a person that did you start in just reggae and then somehow wove your way into punk and ska?
Absolutely. I was straight dancehall, into the dancehall, and then, like I said, this manager lady, she dared me because she see I used to play around with a lot of sounds in the studio. So the Toasters lost their guys. I filled in for 2 guys, but I wasn't 100% comfortable at that time.
Sure.
And then I went back. To the Toasters in the 90s, and you know, I was like, yeah, when was I the most happiest doing music? And it was the Toasters.
Yeah, but Pilfer, if we could talk about that, the Pilfers, like that is an era or a style of music that I think you and I, Tom and I, were watching an interview with you, and I think you said, and I love the way you said it, it's like you feel like Pilfers are just now getting the recognition that maybe they should have gotten years and years and years ago in ska and reggae or punk even. So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Because it was... we would play ska. We would play ska shows. The first ska show that we ever played was like, you hear them screaming out in the audience, "That's not ska! That's not ska!" I'm like, well, it's something. You know what I mean? Again, I play with a lot of sounds, so you know, we're experimenting with the music. I'm like, yo, do this, slow that down, put in the crunch. You know what I mean? It's just like me experimenting.
Yeah.
And because I had such great musicians around me, you know, it just exploded. I mean, my imagination just could run wild. I wanted to do jungle. I wanted to do skungle, right? So I wanted to merge ska and jungle.
Yeah.
And if not for the musicians that was around me, you know, it could have sounded kind of like what Toasters did with Chuck Berry, because that was my first time trying to do it, but they didn't grasp my concept.
Yeah, and
have you heard the Toasters?
I know.
Chuck Berry.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So you're saying sort of that you did that, you tried that, but it didn't come out the way that you wanted it because it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with this band, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, how difficult is it though, as a front man, as a singer, when you're joining a band, and again, that wasn't your band, I guess they're bringing you in. Like, how much pull did you have? How much power did you have within the band to kind of influence them?
Well, to be honest with you, I had a lot of pull if I wanted it.
Yeah.
But the problem was, for me personally, I felt that the Toasters had a sound.
Sure.
And that's an institution. Now, for me to go in there and start rearranging that sound and leaving, that's disrespectful to the whole scene.
Yeah. I think you said that perfectly, man. I think you said that perfectly. And then me, again, not to make it about me, but to come back to me as a viewer in '94, or as a listener, rather, I'm getting out of high school, I'm listening to that, I'm going to college. I realized that as much as I love the Toasters, I think I was more of a fan of what you brought to the Toasters, if that makes sense. So then when I went and checked out the Pilfers, and I urge everybody to, you'll hear a sound that I honestly believe I liked more because it's you. It's more authentically you.
Exactly. That's authenticity. That's it. Authentically me. Exactly. Now, I'm with the Toasters, and I was holding back the reins,
Yeah. Well, they're very traditional. They're very traditional, right? Like, that is...
I just kept it nice, and, easy, I was holding the reins back. I couldn't actually go, like, berserk, you know what I mean? If you listen to Pilfers, even just down to Yakuza, that's a prime example of Pilfers, like me breaking out. I was rapping in there the way I should rap.
Well, it starts with punk rock, right? Yakuza, starts with like a weird punk rock. It sounds like almost like a fast punk rock song. I'm like, what the hell is this guy?
No. It's the heavy one first. First you hear that.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. So you're banging, your head is banging already, dun, 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 and then it lifts off. You know what I mean? But I couldn't really do that style because, again, it would be taken away from what the Toasters really do.
Yeah, and it would have. I think you nailed it. I think it would have. If I came to a Toasters show expecting to see pretty traditional style, I mean, that's probably for casual ska people. I feel like the Toasters they're up there. And if I came there and I saw that, I would have been thrown off. I'd be like, this is not. Yeah. I never thought about that. Yeah, Tom.
Cooley, I want to ask you about you voiced Little Jacob in Grand Theft Auto. And,
yes, indeed.
Wild. That's so cool.
What's funny to me is, like, I know you as a musician, and obviously from listening to ska since I was in high school, and then you're doing this interview with this podcast about Grand Theft Auto, and the person's like, Cooley also does some music that our listeners, because they only know. and then I'm laughing because,
you dabble in music, right? Every once in a while.
I'm curious to your experience with that, because Grand Theft Auto is such a huge game globally that did it blow your mind how many people consumed Grand Theft Auto and like were interested in your part in that?
See, I don't even know the limits and the reach of that. I'll be honest with you. I did it, and there was no feedback on my end. There was no. I mean, to this day, I hear some people say, "Oh yeah," but I don't really know the magnitude of it. You know what I mean?
It's interesting too, because I have friends that only found you and your music because of the game.
Wow.
Because I told them, not again, I'm making it about me, but I told them, like, hey, this is like, do you know who that is? So have you done any other acting or anything other than that?
I haven't done anything since then. Before that, I was doing some little bit parts in England because I went back to England for a while. So I did some like little cameo stuff. My mother's the film director, so she got me in.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, so man.
I did that, but no, I haven't done any acting. And I'll be honest with you, acting was like my first passion before music, and I couldn't do any acting over here because I didn't know how to get into it. Music was the easiest thing that I did. So yeah, music. I love music. That's me.
Cool.
But no, I haven't.
I'm curious, and this may be a cliche question that you've gotten asked a bunch of times, but I figured I'm interested to hear your opinion on it. But what do you think about like the white boy reggae and the white guy that is singing in a Jamaican style that is not his real accent,
right?
But he's mimicking the music that he loves, and I've heard
using phrases and culturally like things that maybe
Trying to get him canceled. I'll give you my honest opinion. You know,
take it.
I'm just eating some authentic bread pudding here, which I made myself.
Oh, really? Bread pudding, man.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
It is delicious. It's very delicious.
I got a sweet tooth. I'll eat me some bread pudding, man. I love it.
It's delicious. So, to be honest, I think anybody can do what the they want. I mean, I don't really care. If people like it, sing it. I mean, they probably say the same about me. That boy from New York sounding like a Jamaican. He's not born in Jamaica. I mean, even though I have Jamaican parents, they probably say the same about me. You know what I mean? I ain't going to hate on nobody. And I heard some really good artists. So, personally, I don't care. I understand how people can say, oh, it's appropriation and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that's been going on from the beginning of time. What are we going to do? Not like the music and not sing it?
Yeah. And it seems like sometimes people get maybe even a little more concerned about that, and then they forget about the music. And the music, going back to what you just said, that's you. That's the most important part. That's why we're here.
Yeah. Do people like it? Like you said, it's like, what do I care? You know?
I mean, they probably want to let me in ska in New York City because ska wasn't the same two-tone.
Yeah.
Probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you guys are considered like what? Pilfers is what, third wave? Is that what it's credited?
We're fourth wave. We started a wave of our own.
I love that. I love that. Oh, you see what he just said? Some people get mad when you say fourth wave. Well, I like that. I like that.
You said
we did. We started a wave of our own. No one was doing what we were doing. They're still not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they try, but I'm just being honest. Everyone's going to hate me and say, oh, he's this. I'm telling you the damn truth.
No, they're wild records. I urge all of our listeners to go back and check them out. Hey, are you still re-releasing? Or maybe did I read that wrong? Aren't you re-releasing all the Pilfers stuff again? Or was it last year? Or because it's still out there and everybody should find it.
What happened was I found one song which we did ages ago. No, let me backtrack. Our second album was on Mojo Universal. It was buried for about 27 years.
Good God.
Shelved. So it wasn't, no platforms, no nothing. I was in constant conversation with these guys. They were probably tired of hearing me. But I was like, yo, listen, this is a part of history. You got to put this up, man. And then finally, I got an email saying, oh, we're going to put it up on January the 5th, 2024. I swore it was like one of those spam bullshit. Somebody was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, no way, this is not going up there. And then sure enough, January the 5th, 2024, they released Chwala Lang back onto the platforms. That's what you saw. And I'm like, yes, finally, at least somebody can hear it. I mean, it's kind of late, but it's kind of timely at the same time because I've been getting emails from people around the world that are saying, "Oh, I just discovered this band." They think that's a new joint.
It sounds new. I wrote that down to tell you. It's so. I don't like using the term weird because I feel like that's disrespectful. But it's so unique in the way that it sounds. It does sound new. Like there are bands out there that are doing new things. Like for instance, like Turnstile. Like their last couple of albums have been really weird and kind of new. Your record sound new. That band, your band, sounds like it would hit right now. Are you guys still playing together at all?
Well, we're playing the Hurricane Party.
Well, I mean, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, we didn't know what Incarnation.
We didn't. Full transparency, didn't know when Incarnation, but that's going to sell some tickets.
It's a Incarnation. But if you got me, then it's the band.
I love it. That's so cool, man. That's really, really cool.
I could say, yeah. We have 2 singers, and I still sing like 90% of the song. So
yeah.
Cooley, real quick, as a musician, what are your thoughts on AI music and how I imagine that new musicians will use it as inspiration for writing music? Because I'm not sure if you've messed around with it, but I'm like, for sure, young musicians are going to be creating AI music and then mimicking what they, getting ideas from it.
I don't know if they can escape it at this point.
Yeah, you can't escape it. Do I like it? Not really. I mean, I've always taken pride in writing my songs and composing songs and putting the hours in rather than just touch a keyboard and you got a song. That's really effortless, and that doesn't show any creativity. I'm into the creativity, but as you said, you can't fight it. I mean, what am I going to do? Go into everyone's house and shoot up the block?
Yeah.
That'd be a good video. A video of cool. We'll write the song, but the video is you just driving around house to house and just shooting up people's computers.
Like there's some nerd in there making some AI music. Like, acid, Cooley Rex is here.
My God, it's Cooley Rex.
You're beating their computer.
We got to find something. What would be more Jamaican? I guess shooting it up. You can shoot it up.
Shoot up the block.
Just shoot it up.
With a flag in my hand, too, with a Jamaican flag in my hand.
I like that. I like one big Jamaican flag, and he's just shooting it up. Make sure people know where they can get the tickets for Hurricane Party. So.
Yeah, westendvenue.com. Again, it's May 31st. And you mentioned Two-Tone. It reminded me, you're still doing Two-Tone podcast, correct?
Yes, I'm still doing Two-Tone podcast with Jeffro Piskin, Raised Fist Productions.
You guys have a good chemistry. You guys are funny together. You're very funny together. I like the show.
We are very, very, very similar people.
It's good.
He's a younger version of myself. I have grown since, but he's definitely like me.
Yeah,
we are like each other.
It's good, and you guys highlight some of the greatest of the industry on the show. And so, if you're into ska and if you're into reggae and into music, even, I would definitely give it a listen and definitely check it out.
Thank you for the plug.
Oh, Cooley, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
And we look forward to having you in Florida. I know it's such a first time, but having you in Sanford.
It's a long time. It's a long time in Florida.
Been a minute.
So thank you so much. Yes, because I tried to book the band by myself one time. Said I'm going to start up a booking agency.
We've done a couple of wah-wahs too. Yeah. You came to the right place, but we'll see you at the Hurricane Party. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, man. Peace.
All right, man. Take care. Be good. Cooley Ranks live from his. We've been talking to a lot of people in their home offices today. We went from Wango Tango, the Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent, to the mild-mannered, ultra-intelligent, and I'm fanboying crazy lead singer of Pilfers and the Toasters, Cooley Ranks.
Yeah.
That's a huge, crazy swath.
It was funny to listen to Cooley on an interview with like I said, this podcast, and they're like talking to about Grand Theft Auto, which obviously that's not a special day. He was like, I just voiced and then the guy's like, some of our listeners may be interested to hear that you're also a musician.
Also, why wouldn't you have led with that? Like, how do you not know?
Because his audience only cares about Grand Theft Auto.
But I mean, like reggae, or if you're just doing research, how do you not know the Toasters?
Yeah, well, I guess.
I mean, the Toasters are almost like top of the top. Like Bucket from Toasters is like is ska. That's like
but if you don't know ska, you have never. I bet if you mention Toasters, to most people don't know.
That say they like music. When you say to me you like music and you don't know a little bit about all music, I get really mad at you. Well, I don't like that.
They like the music that they like.
I like the music that I like, but
they don't care about anything else.
I find out a little bit I know a little bit about even classical. I know a little bit about like pianists. I know something about Josh Groban.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You gotta, if you're gonna say you like music, then like music.
Yeah, or we should preface it by saying I like my music, not all music. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.